Princess, you could never guess how happy I am to be here.
Yeah, I bet you are.
It's a good thing you don't bring your old man along on trips like these.
Hey, wait a minute. Let's just leave my husband out of it.
This love affair. This love affair. This love affair. Oh, my heart.
1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2.
He's
check,
back.
1 2 1 2 1 2 1.
Check it out, y'all. Oh! Oh! Oh!
Oh,
God damn!
the boy good.
Sorry, rewind. Yo, what go on? Yosh, how would the blur now?
The man-
How go on
the
over
man
there, so?
said Yosh. The man said Yosh.
How would the blur now to go on over there, so? Yeah. How would the blur now to go on over there, so? Yeah. Yosh.
Integrated by Jamaican.
You're currently hearing the echoes of a trip to JA from DJ Croc carrying
Oh, yeah. Oh, you mean, Father Night? Big up yourself here, sir. Big up your blur now, sir. Oh, you mean? Everything
The prodigal
pretty,
son
man.
has returned.
Everything pretty, man. Everything pretty. I'm lay back. You say, like me cheer. You like me cheer. Jeez. Man, come back. Executive, no. Executive, no.
The man is speaking in sound effects and lost consonants. Executive.
Executive, no. Good evening, brothers. Good evening, and welcome.
What's going on, man?
Evening.
We're there. Welcome all the people in the chat. We'll give you a run through in a little while. Gotta say salute to Mr. Diesel. Even though he's not on screen, he sees in the chat. He's on his way, so he'll be here in a minute. Salute Diesel.
Man, I come.
We're there. Forward quick, my youth. Forward quick. I'm Theo. Bring 2 Guinness punch when you come as well. All right?
7 Guinness punch.
7 Guinness punch.
You might get away with 6.
In it. Good evening, ladies and gents. We are, of course, the Real Soundcheck podcast. We are here every Monday, 9 p.m. UK time on Twitch. Tonight, we're also coming to you live on YouTube as well, Alt TV channels on Twitch and on YouTube. Don't forget, you can catch the replays on Spotify and on Mixcloud as well. Salute to my brothers. Yo, it's nice to be back, man.
Nice to have you.
Welcome back, sir.
man.
Welcome back.
Home,
Good to have you back.
my brother.
Safe.
Respect. Yeah, man. It's nice
yeah,
to
man.
be.
Also nice of you to pop in a couple of times during your stay as well.
Oh, no, lucky. Me, I look Paolo.
Our Caribbean correspondent on the ground.
Yeah, that's what we should have had. Well, the sun is rising.
Winston.
We missed the trick there, didn't we? We missed the
Yeah,
trick.
we did.
Winston Arms as the second.
That would have been dope. Now, there's only one Winston Arms house. Winston Arms house.
See Karen James
Leroy
coming.
Braithwaite. Leroy
What's
Braithwaite.
Karen saying?
We need subtitles
subtitles?
tonight.
Hot water.
Yeah, man, it's good to be back. It's been a minute. It's good to be back. Salute, brothers. Salute. Man like Father Tech. Buddha Palm TV in the building. Man like Friction. Fire Media.
Yes,
Fire.
Salute.
Man like DF Night.
What's going on? Peace, what's going on?
Man like Butch Brute Smelling. Top shelf shelling. Top tier shelling. Sorry.
He's in the shadows.
Cassidy.
Tonight.
Yeah, man. He's trying to do a Dave Night. He's trying to do a Dave Night.
Moody thing, isn't he?
He's trying to do a Dave Night.
He's putting out the vibe.
Turn it up.
You know, me know,
There
so
he is, there he is.
the cost of living crazy is bad, you know, but boy, you can turn up the light little, you know, road boy. You can turn up the wattage little bit.
Open the eye.
Grown folks grooves in the building. Salute, sir.
Salute.
Salute,
Glad to have you
salute,
back,
salute.
my brother. It's good to have you with us.
Yo, it's nice to be back, man. It's nice to be back.
Because then D's on here and then we got the full package, man.
Absolutely.
Yes, man. Yeah, man. It's been
Deadly.
a minute. Salute and good evening to people in the chat, the family in the chat. Mitchie Boo, our wonderful mod. Salute to Mitchie Boo. Thank you again for being here and looking after us. We appreciate you. Karen James. Yo, I got to give you a joke Karen James gave me. Anyway, I'll come on to that later. Remind me about a joke that Karen James gave me yesterday. I have to give you. Salute and good evening to weird is everybody. Miss Naturally J in the building. Good evening, Jacqueline. Good to see you in the place. Welcome. Good to see you. Fire Diesel is on his way in. Karen James is talking about Subtitles. All right, let me tell you, Joe. This one is for Mr. Diesel, really, because he's an iOS salesman. But yesterday, Karen James ran a joke. She was talking about. Do you remember the chokes that used to have on the car?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was just on an old school. We were just reminiscing on old school things, and she just drawed that one out the bag. And I was like,
Choke.
I haven't the choke, the manual choke that you used to have to pull out on the car. We were talking about something was just so long and difficult, and just like it was just like the manual choke on the car. And I was like, where did you get that from?
That's an old.
That's old.
That's old school.
Proper old school.
Mark one
That's old
escort
school.
business. That is
Yes, mate.
And in the
That's
winter,
like the
you have to
square-shaped
go out.
Fiesta.
You'd have to go out, start the
I
car,
don't even know
pull
what
out the
that was
choke.
for. What was that
to make
for?
You couldn't start the car without pulling out the choke.
Yeah, man.
Karen,
It was like
Karen
the
and me
accelerator.
said the exact same thing. We said, what was that thing even for? What was the purpose of that thing?
It was the extension on the accelerator. So
Yeah.
basically, you know, you have to rev up your car to warm it up.
Yeah.
You could pull out the choke and it would pull the accelerator slightly. Do you get me? So you
Ah,
could turn your car engine on, pull the choke, and it's like putting your foot on the
Yeah,
accelerator
it's like
slightly.
a little bit more
Probably take it to
gas
about 1.5 2
without
revs.
flooding it, because you know
That's
if you
it.
keep pushing
Yeah,
it
yeah,
down,
yeah,
it'll flood.
yeah,
So
yeah.
you pull on the choke to
Right.
get.
So you need
yeah.
to warm your car now. Pull the choke out, warm the car.
And then push it. You push it back in slowly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I thought it was to let more fuel into the engine, but
Well, that's it. That's the same. Yeah, so the
Yeah,
same
so
way you
yeah,
put your foot on the
yeah.
accelerator, it opens up.
So you don't flood it.
Yeah.
Yo, science in here, you know.
I'm telling you.
Drop a
Listen.
bomb for friction, man. Drop a bomb for friction, man.
I'll tell you why I know. My mum used to have a lot. What was it? A Fiat Strada, and it wouldn't start without the choke. You had to
Yeah.
pull out the choke to start the car.
Yeah.
You get me?
Yeah, my
We
mum
had that-
So part of my
Datsun-
job was if you're going out,
Datsun
I'd have to go
somewhere.
out like 2 or 3 minutes beforehand, start
I'll
up the
warm
car,
the
pull
car.
out the choke, and walk the car.
Yeah.
Technologist.
Yeah. We had the same thing. My mum had a Fiesta at one point, and it was the same thing. You had to go out and warm up the thing with the choke, and then slowly you could ease the choke,
Ease it
ease
up
the
a
choke
little.
back. Yeah, man. People ain't
friction-
gonna know. About,
Even
people
someone
don't
just flood
know.
the engine. These
I
youths
was
nowadays
today
don't know about
No,
filling
they
the
don't
engine.
know.
when I found out what that was. You never know.
But friction,
No idea. I remember.
friction,
it,
your
but
life
no
wasn't
idea.
rough. Your life wasn't rough. When you were the actual remote for the television, then your life. was rough.
I had that roll as
Listen,
well.
yeah, man. Remember that.
Hold on, I had that roll,
Remember
man.
that.
Go change the
Yo,
channel.
Listen, no. It wasn't that. It got to the point where in my living room, you were afraid to get up because if you got up, it was while it up on your feet.
Yeah.
While it up on your foot, go change the television for me. While it up on your foot, go do this. While it up on your foot, go to the kitchen and bring this. Go upstairs and bring. You're afraid to get up. Well, I was anyway. I was afraid to get up.
I'm
Yes,
thinking
you knew
it
it
might
was
have been
a mission.
even worse for some people, whereby the child is like, "Yeah, hold up the aerial like this. No, move. No, hold it like that. Okay,
never.
yeah, I can see the news. I can see the
Never.
news. Yeah.
Never.
There you go. There you go.
There you go. I can see
You talking about the
BBC2K
coat
now,
hanger?
yes.
You talking about the coat hanger with the aluminum foil on it?
Exactly. Right, you can see
Never.
Trevor McDonald
Never.
now.
I would get a divorce. I'm sorry.
The views expressed by the members on this podcast are strictly those of the people speaking and do not represent the values
Black and white TV.
of the Real Soundcheck podcast. We do not condone child abuse in any form. All right.
Child
Good
slavery
evening,
and all that.
Miffy Moments. Good evening, Miffy Moments. Welcome in.
evening.
Good evening to G-Force Leroy in the building. Good evening, sir. Salutes, Leroy.
Force.
Leroy. Good evening, good evening, good evening to all the family rolling. Do us a favor, people, please. Put the word out. Invite someone into the session. Yeah, man. Invite someone into the session and let them know we are here. You know what I mean? They just might like it. Somebody just might need it. All right. So please share the link if you can. If you've received a link via WhatsApp or something like that, then please forward that on as well to someone. Share the link. Each one teach one. All right. All right. So are we ready to get into it?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
All right.
Yes,
Cool.
man.
Well, do you know what? I feel like some sexy graphics.
Okay.
I'm glad you chose to use that piece. That's one of my favourite pieces off that project. So thank you very
Listen,
much, brother.
you're welcome. You're welcome. Checks in the post, yeah?
My royalty check. Which one?
Checks in the post.
Respect.
I was gonna say whose beat was that?
That's
Yeah,
probably
man. That's Mr. Brown, man. That's Mr. Brown.
It's a bro.
It's Mr. Brown.
Mr. Brown make beats. Yeah, man. So, this evening we are about to get into our first section. Tech, are you going to lead on this one? Oh,
Yeah,
you know
so-
what?
Well, go on.
None. You know what? I was going to kind of say, I was just going to talk about my trip and whatever. Maybe I'll do that at the end because I haven't
Yeah.
been here for a minute. Do that at the
Yeah,
end.
why not, man? All right, man.
Yeah.
Cool. So,
Over to you.
all right, respect. So, one of the things we were thinking about when we look at things we're going to talk about on these sessions is, I don't know if you're anything like me and in my household, choosing what you're going to watch at a weekend with the missus or with the family is a nightmare because you have so many different sources of video. You have Netflix, you have Amazon Prime, you've got Moody Stream apps that you can access, you've got your normal TV, you got Sky, you got Virgin. So we thought because we've got 7 DJs with all different tastes in different things, it would be good to be able to look at what we're watching, and if we spot anything decent, anything we want to share with the rest of the crew, come and bring that to you, man, and just tell people about the niceness that we're watching. So today we're going to have a little section just talking about new films and new TV series that we've come across that we might think you should check out. So first up, we have one film that I'm really looking forward to, and I think this is Croc's going to be talking about this. This bad boy film, yeah, so John Wick, Chapter 4. And I beg you don't spoilers, man, because I'm going to watch that this week.
Don't.
Boy. All right. So,
Talk to me, man. Talk to me.
all right. So let me begin by kind of prefacing this by saying I am a massive John Wick fan. So I might be a little bit biased. You know what I mean? I am a massive fan. There's been a lot of anticipation about this film for all John Wick fans. Okay. And long story short is it does not disappoint. Okay.
Good.
It does not. Oh, look, beat push out. Listen, just shut them out. I was about to say that. This boy just come in here.
At the same time, you know. At the same time.
in it. So anyway, yeah, it really doesn't. And there are some new characters in this installment, and the new characters are good. I'm not going to say too much. Beat Push was already kind of saying Donnie, you know what I mean? I don't know why I'm coming that from. I don't know why.
Just
who doing this thing? Me or you, Beat Pusher? Huh?
It's all right. You can say an actor's name. It's not a,
Yeah, man.
it's not a
that's
giveaway.
good.
It's right.
That's good, man. Want some interaction, man? Definitely come.
Don't encourage him. Don't encourage him. Don't encourage him, my brother. Butch, I grew up with him, man. Don't encourage him. Anyway, no, I'm joking. Donnie Yen does kill it. There was a lot of anticipation about Donnie Yen's entrance into John Wick 4. Doesn't disappoint either. There were some other new characters as well, and I thought all of them were pretty good too. I would recommend that for anybody who's going to watch John Wick 4, make sure you watch the first 3. Definitely make sure you watch John Wick 3, because John Wick 4 leads directly on from the end of John Wick 3. All right? So if you haven't watched John Wick 3 at least,
Parabellum.
make sure you watch that one
Right, okay.
before you go to John Wick 4. All right? Better still, watch all of them. Make sure you've watched all 1, 2,
Facts.
and 3 in order.
Facts.
Right, to get the full context. You are not going to you're going to have a lot of questions. You're going to be like, but why is this? But why? And I hate when you go cinema with someone and they just asking bare question because they didn't watch.
That's my yard. That is.
Bro, I think it's just our lives. It's just our lives, man. So make sure you've watched the first 3. If you don't watch all of them, make sure you at least have to watch number 3. All right, before you get into number 4. What can I say without? I was impressed that in this film, I wonder how many new ways can people come up with to dead a man. Do you know what I mean? in this film, they still manage to come up with new ways to kill a man. There was plenty of moments and plenty of Lord kind of moments, and there was some that even made me laugh, which was
there was some comedy in it.
Yeah, man. There was so they was like, who thought of that? Who thought to kill the man like that? But John Wick 4, I would give it a 9, probably a 9.5, 9.8 out of 10. The only reason I wouldn't give it a full 10 out of 10 is because there was one new character that I didn't quite understand where they came from, and that was a bit of a question mark in my head. Maybe I need to go back and watch it again, and on the second time watching it, I will understand that. But other than that, John Wick 4, yes, and yes. Amazing, wicked film.
Final installment, isn't it?
Bro, you've got me hyped up even more now, man.
It is the final installment. I don't want to get no spoilers, so I'll just leave it there. But yeah, John Wick 4 is a great film. But please make sure you watch the ones before it. At the very least, watch number 3. Otherwise, it's just not going to make sense. Yeah.
You know what's crazy for me about the series is the way that it's kind of kicked off just from one incident in the first one.
Yes.
That's why number 1 is so important.
Yes.
Because even the cinematography of where he was when that happened, and then where the film's now placed, it just looks totally different. You know what I mean? But it's what a story.
Yeah.
What a story.
Like Croc was saying, when number 3, when I watched that in the cinema, there was a lot of crowd. And explain like blah. Just loads of
the horses when he
don't talk.
That's number 3.
It doesn't matter. I'm telling people to watch it, so don't talk it. I'm telling them to watch it.
This is what, mate.
That's old tree, 4 years old.
I've been ducking social media so hard, so I don't get any spoilers on this thing, you know, because I'm looking for.
What, you haven't watched 1, 2, or 3?
Of course, I've watched one. I've watched all of them. Yeah. Number 4, just for number 4. You know what I mean? I haven't.
I've been in the room. I've been in a room when it's been on, but to say I've sat down and watched it and know the storyline, no, I've never watched it.
Oh, you never watched any of them?
Okay.
No.
Oh, really?
Oh,
okay.
man.
Brother.
Hey,
Yo, you're in for a treat. You're in for a treat.
Like
Brother.
I walk in the room and I'm like, "Raw, what's going on there? Like someone's just got an axe in the side of their head, or
Yeah. All of that.
their eye, and
All of that.
I'm just like, yeah.
You know the difference with that film. The reason why I like that film so much, right, as a person who loves martial art films and action films in general, is that Keanu Reeves actually learnt Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu with like Brazilian masters, the Machado brothers, in America for like about 18 months before doing the film.
Good.
And he also learnt the sort of tactical use of the guns, you know, like when they're trained to move and use guns properly.
Yes.
So everything that he's doing in there is authentic.
The
you know
close
All
combat
the
with the
movements,
guns. Oh my
everything is
life.
authentic. So that's why it's dope. Do you know what I mean? You know, like when you normally watch like a Hollywood film and you see two people fighting and what they do, they zoom in. And it's like, dun, 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 all you can see.
But we have to
fight.
Can we send a quick shout out to Halle Berry?
Mate, in 3, my day.
Oh my God, Halle Berry in number 3 goes on.
She did exactly the same training.
Yeah,
bad with
she goes on wicked. I could watch that scene over and over and over again. Bad.
Yeah, they've dropped it properly, man. They've dropped it properly.
It was dope. So yeah, you know what? Let's not say anything more about John Wick.
Yeah, man.
We're going to start dropping too much spoilers. But John Wick 4, 9.5, 9.8 out of 10. I would give it.
Yeah, man.
Make sure you watch the ones before it, though, please. If you want to get the full. John Wick 4 was about 3 hours long. It was long. It was long, but it's one of those ones where it was worth it. Yeah. It was worth it, you know. No, you don't feel it at all. You don't feel it at all. So definitely watch the ones before, and just remember, John Wick 4 leads on directly from the ending of John Wick 3. All right, so
Baba Yaga.
Yeah. All right, that's it. That's me.
Himself. Yeah, man.
Cool.
Big up, respect, Croc. Thank you for that, man. That's beautiful. I'm buzzing. I'm so excited, like a kid, literally like a kid. Looking forward to that. So, a couple of things that I've been watching and seen recently. Here's the first one: is a film called Devotion with Jonathan Majors.
Glad at the moment.
Yeah, so it's. I think it was released originally in November last year, but it's just come out on Amazon Prime. So go catch it on there, and it's the story of Jesse Brown, who was the first black U.S. Navy aviator, first black pilot, and his sort of going over to the Korean War in the 1950s, and his sort of connection with this guy Glenn Powell, which is his wingman, and his kind of trials and tribulations with being able to get into the plane and get to flying. So initially, when I was watching it, I was thinking, this is kind of like that kind of, he must have gone through some stuff to get to where he was going. To be the only black person to, or the very first black person to actually fly a plane, he must have gone through some trials and tribulations. And initially, it kind of felt like they washed over that. But then as you watch the film, you kind of see how his acting is based on certain things that he's been through in order to sort of get to where he's going. So, for example, it's not something that's a spoiler, but I'll tell you, there was one scene I thought that really sort of resonated with me, where he was talking, like his wingman, this guy here, Glenn Powell, he was talking to him about, well, you know what I mean, if you follow the rules, then you survive. They were trying to land on this aircraft carrier, and he wasn't listening to the direction that he was given. And eventually he landed, and the guy was saying, well, why didn't you just listen to the people that were directing you? And he was saying during his training, the sort of the commanding officers didn't want him to succeed. They even wanted him during the sort of water test that they have as pilots. They throw them into water and they have to swim, weigh them down, and they have to kind of just stay alive and tread water for a long time. They put extra weights in his clothes. They tied his hands and all that kind of stuff. They wanted him to drown because they couldn't believe like a black person could swim, but he survived it. And so he was saying that in your world, following the rules keeps you alive, but in my world, I don't believe what anybody says to me. You know what I mean? And that kind of resonated, and that was kind of hard. And that was sort of halfway through the film, and it kind of changed my perception on how it was, because obviously it's only, I think it's a 12, I don't think it's a 15 or anything like that. They have to kind of water things down. But sort of going on through there, the sort of undercurrent of how they kind of tell his backstory subtly, I think was really good. The action in the film's really good. How they drop the CGI in the battle scenes, like typical war movie style. Cinematography's wicked. I would say definitely go and check it, man. Really good film. Really good film. One to watch with the family.
No, I'm glad you gave that review, because I was looking at this film wondering, whether to give it a look in or not. So I'm glad you've given that review and given it a kind of positive review. So I'll definitely go and look at it. Now that you've given it that kind of seal of approval, I'll go and check it out.
Me too,
yeah.
I didn't know what it was about.
Check, man. Worth a check. I would say it was I'd give it a 7. I'd give it a 7. You know what I mean? Because they have to, because it's a 12, they can't really tell the full realness of the thing. You know what I mean? They have to kind of sort of display it with a little bit of a rose tint, but it does show briefly the undercurrent of what this person must have gone through in order to get where he went to. You know what I mean? There's some dark bits in it, and I rate it, man. It was a good film, man. A good sort of upbeat, uplifting film.
Okay, all right, nice, respect. Good evening to Monkey Magic in the chat. Good evening to Bigger G as well, who's also in the building. Good evening, Bigger G, and good evening to Ian Morlin, who's in the chat as well. And officially, good evening to Beat Pusher. I know I kind of went off on him a little bit, but officially, formally, good evening to man like Beat Pusher. Yeah, man, in the building. Tech, what else we got?
One more from me. This might be a series that people have already seen on
is it any
Sky Atlantic, I think it's come out, but it was originally made by HBO over in the States,
right?
And it's based on a PlayStation game called The Last of Us, but called the same thing. I was actually streaming it on Buddha Palm, but I won't talk anymore about that. The series,
you done said it, bro.
Yeah, man, blatant. Shameless.
Allegedly.
Some say I streamed it on the thing.
So we heard.
Yeah, The Last of Us. It's basically a post-apocalyptic thing. If people have sort of watched The Walking Dead, it's a similar vein to that.
Okay.
But I think how this has been dropped is really good. I mean, the writing in it, the two characters, this guy here, Pedro Pascal, he's the guy that he was in Narcos. He was in one of the Narcos series.
Okay.
And this young girl, she's bad. This girl's bad. She was in Game of Thrones. Bella Ramsey, I think her name is. Basically, she holds the kind of key to potentially the curing of this disease. There's like a fungal infection that's wiped out a load of the planet. Basically, the infection takes over people's minds, turns them into zombies, and blah blah blah. The usual spiel. But I
Right.
think with this, the big thing is kind of like where Walking Dead took a couple of series to get to, was what the most effed up thing is just people, not so much the zombies. Is how people turn against other people.
Yes.
And how people just become messed up. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
I won't tell you how there was one kind of group of people there just wrong uns, mate. But yeah, the first series is up for watching on Sky Atlantic, I believe, in the UK. But
Right.
yeah, heavyweight series, man.
It's
Heavyweight
good.
series. But yeah. I'd say high 9 point something, man. 9.5 for me.
Nice.
Yeah, tough.
Serious?
Yeah, it's tough,
that
man.
kind
It's
of-
tough,
it's
tough,
that
tough,
kind of
tough,
thing.
tough. For me.
Okay.
But that flicks my switch. You know what I mean? So that's
Okay.
tough, man.
Okay.
I might
All
have
right.
to- All right.
Can I add one to the mix, please? I know I've done my kind of thing already with but one that I did watch that I really really did enjoy, and I would encourage anybody to watch it of any age. It's a documentary on Netflix about Bill Russell. I don't know if
basketball
anybody.
player.
Yes. I never knew who Bill Russell was until I watched this documentary on Netflix, and it was I felt so inspired when I watched that film. I would encourage anybody to go and watch the documentary on Bill Russell. Beat Pusher saying he's watched it. It was such an inspiring film to watch.
So elaborate. Who's Bill Russell?
Bill Russell is like is a legendary, but he's like the Muhammad Ali of basketball.
All right.
You understand?
Okay.
So the man's got more championship rings than he's got fingers, and he was like an absolute pioneer in the game, but he was also a heavy activist off the court as well. So just like how you're talking, that pilot went through some things to get through where they were in the time that they were living in. Bill Russell is growing up in segregated America down south, you know, so he's been through some things as well. Can't eat this anyway. He's been through some things, but he just achieved so much, and he didn't let any of that deter him from his own kind of priorities and values of his racial pride, looking after his family, making sure his family's looked after, not taking any ish from anybody, and still went on to achieve all that he did. You know, he really is like the Muhammad Ali of basketball. You know, he's one of the greatest. So I definitely
you know.
encourage
Never heard
anybody.
his name.
Neither me, Friction. And this was like, how is it? When I watched it, I'm like, how is it that I've never heard of this man's name?
Probably would have been before your time. Bill Russell was old school. He was way back.
What year? Sort of year?
He was back around Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and before
Yes.
then.
Oh,
He was
like-
back-
And Kareem's in
We've heard his
it.
name. That's what I'm saying. We've heard his name.
Yeah,
70s.
Kareem's he's in the documentary talking about him, saying he was,
Oh, yeah.
you know, looking up to him.
Yeah, because I know Kareem, but
Yeah,
I
man.
think
Yeah, Bill Russell was a monster.
Dr.
Yeah.
J.
That was early 70s, wasn't it?
Man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
or
early
even
70s.
yes, absolutely, because he was before Kareem and Dr. J and all them.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So that's how old school we're going. But he was absolutely
Shots.
an absolute pioneer in the thing. Really.
Yeah, Tech, they was wearing the booty shorts back then.
Long
With their long
Long
self, with them
time.
long self.
Yeah, man, 7'10".
G-Force is
Long
asking
foot.
what platform is it on? Yeah, it's on Netflix, G-Force. It's on Netflix, and it's just called Bill Russell. Yeah, so I'd encourage anyone to go and watch yourself, your children, anybody. Watch that documentary on Netflix. Really good.
Nice.
If you just
Love
throw
that,
a few
love
in the hats, I'm gonna throw one out there. Farming. Has anyone seen Farming?
Ooh, yes.
What's this?
Go.
You watch it, Tech? Just it's on Amazon. Go and watch Farming. So it's basically quick synopsis. It's set in late 60s, early 70s. Families were coming over from Africa, Nigeria, them places to go to university in the UK, and they had private fostering arrangements for their children, predominantly in white families.
Mate.
Bro, have you watched it?
I haven't, but I've been hearing about. Not only have I heard about this,
Yeah.
but this is a conversation that I'm just surrounded by a lot at the moment. I was having this conversation yesterday. Somebody did a book launch yesterday of their life story, and it was a similar thing.
Okay.
Uh,
This film, about 3 times during the film, I had to pause it and say, "Is this a true story? Really? Like, is this for real?" And it's 100% true story. You know what I mean, about this guy's life, his experiences, and listen, it's serious. So it's definitely.
Do you know what?
It might not be one for the children, because it's traumatic. It's traumatic, yeah. But it's a good insight. Into what
Farming on Amazon.
Yeah, farming.
All right. Do you know what? I think this is a topic we're going to have to touch on in a later podcast because it's a definite thing. It's an absolute thing. And like I said, yesterday there was a book launch of someone who's a similar life story. African parentage, was fostered by white parents in a predominantly white area, and that is something that happened a lot in this country, more so with African children of African parentage, and that's, I think it's something to at least talk about and unpack a little bit for a future episode, because it's a definite thing. It's a definite thing. But I will definitely watch that farming.
Yeah, man.
As well.
Worth a watch.
Yeah. Good evening to Simone Daly Richards in the place. Big up Simone. Big up yourself. Nice to see you back in the place.
So next up we have My Brother Grown Folks with first of two things to
oh Lord
with.
Oh Lord. Lord.
This, I saw the trailer for this and
mate,
what's it saying, bruv?
Let's talk about Swarm.
Oh my God!
Oh Lord. Swarm is a lot. It is a lot. I mean, so Swarm is it's a psychological horror / thriller, and it's a TV series. Childish Gambino, David Glover, and Janine Neighbors, they came up with this idea, and it's based around one character named Dre, and it's a conglomeration of true stories that have nothing to do with each other. And the young woman Dre is obsessed with this superstar, and the superstar name is never said actually.
There's no spoilers, Simone. Sorry, Grown. There's no spoilers, Simone. We're not doing spoilers. We're just doing reviews.
There's
no spoilers. You haven't got to leave. You haven't got to leave. There's no spoilers.
Yeah,
Stay in the room. Stay in the room.
In it.
Yeah. And just her fanaticism just takes over her. Now, one thing I did kind of like, because there were elements of truth in it, and the storylines, they were based on true stories, none of them related. It kind of kept you interested. But other than it was a lot. It was a lot.
So how much would you give it out of 10, Grown Folks? Because I started to I dipped my toe into this thing.
Yeah.
And I must have it didn't keep me there. I wasn't inspired to, put my trunks and my goggles on and dive all the way in. So what would you give it out of 10? If you had to give marks out of 10, what would you give it?
Me, honestly, I would give it probably about a 5-ish. There were elements of it that were done kind of well, and then some bits of it were kind of clever, but it was a lot.
That's interesting, because Beat Pusher said 5 as well.
Yeah,
Lady Uzo, however, says 10. Good evening, Lady Uzo. Manners and respect.
Lady,
says 10 out of 10. That's interesting.
Yeah,
very interesting.
That's very interesting. Yeah.
Karen James seems to love it as well. She says brilliant actress. So yeah, definitely mixed reviews on
Why is
Swarm.
it all the women like all this killing?
I thank God you said it fast, so I ain't getting the brunt of it. You see how they love,
No
obsessed.
spoilers.
Oh, bro.
Killing. No, nothing about no killing.
No spoilers. No spoilers. No spoilers. No spoilers. No spoilers.
So that's Swarm. I give it 5 out of 10.
I thought the disclaimer at the beginning of it was interesting as well. But
the disclaimer just kind of threw everything into turmoil for me, because you think it's one thing and it's actually not that at all.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah.
All right.
But that's that. And I want to recommend a movie. Well, it's actually a short film. Now, this came out in 2020, and it's called Two Distant Strangers, and it's done really well. This film is about Black Americans and some of the encounters that they have with police, and they've put a kind of a spin on it. And the guy, he's like in a time loop, and he has to keep going through the same thing over and over again.
Oh,
It's really good. So if you get a
That's
chance,
an interesting concept.
if you get a
I
chance,
thought
check
I
it out.
saw
It's
that
only like
advert to
34
that.
minutes. It's only 34 minutes. So if you got some time, it's an easy watch.
So what is
It's
it?
good.
So does he die in one thing and then he wakes back up and he's alive and he's got to relive the thing again?
no.
So we're not gonna do spoilers.
Yeah. We've got the basic
too
plot.
much
We got the basic
information.
plot. Yeah, we got the basic
Yeah.
plot. It's a very interesting concept. I like that. I definitely like that.
Yeah, so check
and
that
that's
out.
on Netflix. That's on Netflix.
That's on Netflix, and it's a short movie. It won some awards. 34 minutes, so it won't take up your whole day.
Fantastic.
Nice.
Fantastic. Nice. G-Force, I think, has watched it. He says 9 out of 10 on that one. Salute G-Force. That's a high rating as well. And Bigger G says 10 out of 10.
10.
Yeah, yeah, it's that
Right.
good. It's one
Okay.
to
Nice.
it's
Two
one to check
Distant
out.
Strangers. Yeah.
Nice. All right. That's definitely one to watch.
So next up, we have the man, the myth, Butch Cassidy.
Who me?
With, yes, sir.
Oh yeah. Forget my little kiddie movie.
with your tour de force, that
mate.
is Shazam.
Wait,
You need to
Lord.
talk to me about this because
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, I went with the little one. She was down for the weekend. Whoop, whoop.
Yeah.
And took her and my little cousin out, and they wanted to go cinema, and I let them pick, and they picked Shazam Part 2, Fury of the Gods. How can I put this movie without spoiling anything? Yeah.
Is that the synopsis?
Next time.
Yeah.
Review
That's
over.
the equivalent. That's the equivalent of doubt.
All right. Can I
Doubt it, yeah.
can I add my review? Can I add my review? My review of Shazam was
It's
straight from JA
Oh,
to
stop
London,
it.
UK.
Put it this
What?
way.
Was it this one? This one, bro.
It they had to do what they had to do in the film to excuse me, to make you understand, right? If everyone or has not seen, right, Shazam is a guy. Yeah, no, don't you lot wait.
Shazam.
Yeah, you lot are brutal. Put it this way, it's a kid's superhero thing, and I think that's one of the points, because Shazam is actually a little boy. You know what I mean? And that's not a spoiler. You just know if you know. But he's just a little boy. There's some of the dialogue and the way that he acts that doesn't carry the film all the way through. Do you get what I'm saying? As adults, it's a bit like there's little bits that I find a bit like, oh, come on, bruv, just do this or just do that. Why are you procrastinating? But then I got to remember, you're only 12, 13. So you're not thinking like you know what I mean? Like a Superman or a Wonder Woman or a whatever. There's silly little jokes in there. There's references to other superheroes. Helen Mirren, Lucy Liu, they play the baddies. They do very well, in fact. Graphics, okay. Fight scenes, yeah. But if you've seen one, just watch two. It's all right. It's not.
Just watch
it's
one
not-
again.
Yeah.
I have a question. I have a question about this. Is there a connection between Shazam and Black Adam?
that hasn't come yet, because Black Adam is the first Shazam, isn't he?
I'm asking a question. I need to be educated.
Yeah, Black Adam is the
The reason I'm
first
asking is
Shazam.
because they've got the same thing on their chest, the same emblem on their chest. So is there meant to be a connection?
I think the reason
Black
it's in the
Adam
comic books,
is
I
the
believe.
first Shazam.
Okay.
There is a
Someone
common
says, yeah, they're both
character.
crap.
Mate, honestly, Patrick, 100%.
No, but that
100% right.
that Black Adam
ding,
film
ding, 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 ding.
was below par. It wasn't.
Black Adam was brutal, man. That was whack.
Yeah. That
I was
that
so
hard.
disappointed with that. So disappointed.
But again, if you got into Shazam, you will be a little bit let down by this. That's all I'm gonna say. So out of 10,
-2.
no, don't be brutal. At least a 4. The reason why it gets a 4.
That's
is-
generous. That's
Yeah,
generous.
no, because of Helen Mirren and Lucy Liu and you know what I mean, the other characters, not because of the storyline and anything else and whatever.
That's still generous. That's still generous.
It's fine. Everyone's allowed to
I
their
didn't
opinion.
get. How do I say this without doing a spoiler alert? So I saw something in the film, and out of personal outrage, I just left it, and it's something to do with the this is gonna sound me getting deep now, but this is to do with the. I didn't want to laugh, but I mean I thought.
Listen, the Shazam app's better than the film.
At least it's got use.
You know what I mean?
Truly, but it's to do with this issue with Hollywood and its continuing attempts to demasculate. Thank you, black men. Yeah, demasculate
Are we talking about
feminize black men. All right. And
I'm
when
trying
I
to think
saw
of the
that,
bit.
when I saw that in Shazam, I was out. I locked off. I'm gone. I'm
Which bit
gone.
are you talking about?
Right. You think about it, because I don't want to give spoiler alert. Right. But if you've seen the film, then you probably know what I'm talking. And from I saw that, I was gone. I was out of there.
It was subtle, but it was there.
It was
Simone said
blatantly there.
femitized question mark.
Blatantly there.
Femitized.
Yeah, man.
FEM.
Yo, it's
in the real
it's one of them ones
dictionary.
where it is.
New word alert. New word alert.
It's what, you know how we do, Simone. It might not be in the Oxfords, but you know what I meant.
Photosynthesis.
It won't be in the Oxford, but you knew what I meant.
exactly
You
what
know
it-
exactly what I meant.
It ain't in the Oxford dictionary, but it's
Right?
in the Otis dictionary.
You ain't gonna find blurting out in the Oxford dictionary, but you know what I mean when I use it. Yeah? Context is everything.
It's in the old dictionary.
Context is
The alt
everything.
dictionary.
Yeah. So yeah, man. Just that.
can
Once I
I-
saw that, I was out of there.
Sean, you
Can
gotta
I
watch it now.
can I just think, you lot are nuts. A couple of series that I think are okay. I don't think people give them a chance, but I think it's okay. I like Bel Air. I'm actually
Do you know
warming
what? I
to
haven't
Bel
checked that
Air.
yet. I haven't checked that yet.
Yeah, I like Bel Air. I think Bel Air is guaning. I think it's slowly getting there bit by bit. Everyone was very disappointed in it, but I just think it's a slow burner because Jazz ain't doing the same thing Jazz always does in the thing, but they can't copy it. They have to build up new things. What was the other one? I think I might just leave it at Bel Air, but I think people should watch. Huh?
We have somebody else coming in.
Let him come on screen. Let
Is he
him.
coming? Is he coming in?
You never met anyone turn on him camera first. Let's swipe his camera first, bro. Jeez.
Straight in, mate.
Yeah, I mean, man might be
That's how
blowing
we
his
do it.
nose or something. You know what I mean, just fling man on screen, sir.
Hey,
What's going on? What's
he should
going
enter
on?
the studio if he's digging at his nose. I know, mama's professional. You know what I mean?
Oh, sorry. It's stupid. It's funny, but it's awkward. Cocaine Bear.
Oh,
I'm not
I want
wasting
to watch
my
that. You
money
know,
on that one.
I want to watch that, man.
I am
Just-
not watching no
just
bad
watch it.
cocaine.
I want to watch that film.
Hold on. Can I just be clear on something? Because I looked at that and I thought, has someone seriously made a film about a bear on coke?
Yes.
Yeah, man.
Oh.
It's a true story. It's a true story.
But it's a true
Just-
story. It's a true
just-
story. I
just
think they
watch-
exaggerated
Serious.
some of it.
Yeah, they
Wow.
exaggerated certain bits of it. Just
There's no
watch
way
it.
no bear can snort up a kilo of cocaine and still be alive.
Mate.
Bears are big,
Telling
but they
you.
ain't that goddamn big.
Well,
Okay.
it
Party
happened.
bear,
It
man. It's a
happened.
party bear. It's a party
It happened. and I just tell you,
It was a long weekend.
Is it an animation?
It's in Vegas.
no, the way that they've done it very, very well. They've done it very, very well. And there
Is it
is
an
a,
animation or is it a film?
it's a film.
Okay. All right.
It's a film with real people in, but just if
Okay,
you
bear.
want a silly laugh, but then like you can't certain bits are like oh god, okay, it is a bit gory, like whatever. But yeah, otherwise it's all right.
I remember
Cocaine
the first
Bear.
time I heard the synopsis of that, and like that was like, I'm in. Where do I sign? I
Yeah,
want-
man.
Butch, what would you give it out?
Yeah,
of
but that's because of
Grizzly Bear on
you
cocaine.
tech.
I'm in.
You
I'm
the
in.
master of them
Because-
weird
Yeah,
messed
man,
up
that's
films
the
tech.
whole
Yeah,
That's you.
that's-
I'm fine with
me.
it. What would I give it?
Flipping
because
killer
it
tires
actually-
and thing.
Because it actually made me laugh, funny laugh. I think it will definitely get like a 6.5.
Oh, right.
Yeah, it
I'm
made
pushing
it,
out
there
for real.
was some you know You know the black guy from The Wire? She.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. He's in it, and that's what I'm saying. He brings a different comic. Like, you just gotta watch it, man.
So hold on, this one gets 6 out of 10, yeah?
Yeah.
All right, so that just goes to show just how bad Shazam is. Yeah, a bear on coke scores way higher than Shazam.
Tell me about it. Tell me about it.
I never said Shazam was brilliant. I said that it's definitely,
No, I
it's
never
definitely
said
for
you
the
did.
kids.
I'm just highlighting
Yeah.
the disparity in the scoring. Yeah, a bear on coke will score higher than Hollywood Shazam. I'm just saying.
On paper, I'd definitely be more interested in Cocaine Bear than Little Boy turning into superhero. I'm sold.
Yeah, man.
But to
So
pick
look,
up the
people
point
should-
that Ian
I'm in,
Morlin
man. I'm
made,
in all day.
he said that it's not quite the Dark Knight, and like I'm saying, Hollywood may target Shazam towards a certain demographic, and it's not necessarily going to impress us.
And
like
that's
the
what
Dark
it
Knight
is. That's what I
might
think they've
impress
done.
us in terms of superheroes. Yeah.
Listen, I
The
want
thing is,
to
though, we're
talk.
not exactly highbrow because we're watching Cocaine Bear. Do you know what I mean? But Shazam's just like,
You know what? I think another thing I would like to. This is something I maybe add to our topics thing on Airtable about that the fematizing.
Fematizing.
The fematization of black men, particularly by Hollywood, right? It's something to discuss. It's something to discuss.
Well, we have to have examples, though. We
I'll
can't
give you
just talk about it. We have to have
There's no
examples.
shortage of examples.
There's no shortage of examples, man. I mean, you could talk about Tyler Perry. And
It was just something in the news.
Big Mama's House.
What's his name?
Yeah.
One of the I have to look at. One of the guys just spoke out on Hollywood and why his career hasn't flourished because he wouldn't go for all of their foolishness. Let's grab what B Pusher said. He says he knows a few bads who could do a key of coke.
I don't know what clubs he's going to. But
Yeah.
don't need to stay in them clubs.
That's what I'm saying. That's a different conversation.
Bear, boy.
Femanticipation. What's
But then, I think
femanticipation?
That is entered into the old dictionary.
Emancipation.
This is spelling bee.
I think Soundcheck is going to have its own dictionary by the end of the year. That is weird.
Big shout out to Platts. Big shout out to Cammy. Big shout out to my
Platts.
sister dear
Yes, Platts.
Renee.
Big up
All of her
Platts.
listening in America. Yeah.
Big up, big up.
Big up Platts. Big up Cammy.
But yeah, man, check out the Cocaine Bear, man. Do it.
Okay.
You get a laugh.
I'm about that
You get a
life,
joke.
man. I'm about that life.
Yeah, get
I am
it.
about that life. I'm not even going to front, man. Highbrow what?
Yo,
Goddamn bad got a problem.
good evening to Iola as well in the chat. Good evening,
Bears is
Iola. Good evening, Iola.
We have one more film.
Yes.
Uncle Croc. Yes,
Can we
one
take
more film.
it? Can we take it?
Yeah. I think so. I think it's not Cocaine Bear, man. It's a bit more highbrow. You know what I mean? This is I
say
believe
that.
this is Dave Knight.
Guinness Punch Dog.
You're an idiot. You're an idiot. You're an idiot. That was well thought
Punch dog, you know.
of. Man said, "Give this punch dog." The dog start wind up to do reggae and them thing there.
The Dr. 2 Magnum is just pressing on everything.
Wow. Guinness punch.
Your homework for this evening is to come up with drug-related animals. Mushroom mole.
That's it.
Oh Lord,
Mushroom
Guinness punch
mole.
dog, you know.
Guinness
I'd watch
punch
that.
dog.
I'd watch that. Definitely, I'd watch that.
Cannabis cat.
Boy.
And there's a few of them on TikTok.
Crystal meth
there are.
mouse.
It will be Marijuana Mouse, wouldn't it? Marijuana Mouse. Yeah.
That may be his brother.
That might be his brother.
High-grade hamster.
All right, then, people, man. Let's go, man.
Oh my days.
Dave, what's Creed saying, sir? What are you saying, bro?
Ooh, well, Creed 3, what can I say? Well, this is Michael B. Jordan stepping into the director's chair for this particular episode of the Creed series, the third one. And it's not something that necessarily directly leads on from the first and second. However, he is evolved in his positioning in the boxing world. He's doing something slightly different. He has a gym, and in this one, he gets a visit from someone from his past, and that creates a dynamic between him and the person from his past that gives kudos to the actual story of what happens, and the tension between them grows to the point where, you know, things just can't continue the way that they are. There's lovely touches within the film storyline-wise with Creed's family, and how he relates to the family and how they are involved in the decisions that he makes and how he honors his wife, etc. It's a great film to watch from my humble perspective. I would give this an 8.8 out of 10. The only thing that I think was missing is there's a particular scene where they missed a real, for me, opportunity to build some real big tension and stuff. But, you know, failing that, everything else is really great. Great directing from Michael B. Jordan. Great acting from Mr. Jonathan Majors. He just his character in it is so exactly.
He knocked it out the
brilliant acting from him. Watching him alone is worth watching the film. And I am.
There's no spoilers, Simone. There's no spoilers.
No spoilers. I would say again that you don't really need to watch number 1 and number 2. The little thing that you might not know in the background is that the rights to Rocky and all of that
Talk.
has been acquired by a gentleman called Erwin Winkler. And this was the reason why Stallone wasn't involved and didn't want to. And he's
he's Henry.
No, it's not.
That's Henry.
Yeah.
It's his brother.
And this is the reason why.
His brother holding real power.
And that's the reason why Stallone will never watch Creed 3. He'll never watch Creed 3. Erwin has passed the rights to the film to his son, and Stallone's like, well, I don't even know how he actually managed to get the rights. So if Michael B. Jordan goes to Stallone independently and says, you know, let's do Creed 4, you know, there could be some conversation there. But in terms of Creed 3, that was just like, Stallone was like, nope. And as the Diva speaks, saying the story on Mr. Majors at the moment, it has been redacted by the person who's made the accusation. So time will tell, because there's also rumors going around on Twitter which are starting to expound. But, you know, for the film itself, I give it a lovely 8.8 out of 10, and I do suggest that you see it and enjoy, especially if you're into the boxing. It's not as bloody as, you know, the original Rocky series, but it does have a sense of realism.
That's what everyone said. Everyone said it's soft, man. Like it's soft.
It's not, that's harsh. To say it's harsh is
It's just
soft.
full of one punch. Like one punch. Okay, now your turn. One punch. Now your turn. One punch. Now your turn. Then I'm gonna move.
It's a definite different style of fight scene from the other films. Some people might actually prefer it. Some people might prefer that. But it's a different twist. And I guess it's gonna be down to, you know, the individuals whether or not they like that twist or they don't like the twist.
Well, look at this picture.
And also,
here.
sorry, one other thing is to it's very I know this is easier said than done, but to try and watch the film without comparing it to all the films that have come before it. You understand? Because when you kind of fall into that trap, it's very difficult to just assess the film on its own merits if you're always comparing it to either the ones that came before it,
but you have
or
to.
you're
It's the
comparing
same
it to
things, no?
or you're comparing it to all the Rockies that came before, and those.
Oh no,
fight
not the
scenes.
Rockies, not the Rockies, not the
You understand?
Rockies.
This is
But
what
the
this is what
first
I'm
two
saying.
Creeds, he was going for it. He was swinging.
Simone is
It's
silly.
different. It's a different fight scene.
Simone, man.
Simone is silly.
Simone's a lot.
Yo, Simone, me and you go fight, you know.
Masculinized, not masculinized.
No, masculine
Well,
size.
I'm sure that the
Photosynthesized.
ladies who have seen it are very appreciative of the masculinity within the film between Mr.
That's 2 words in one show.
and Mr. Majors. Yeah.
That's 2 words in one show. God.
Bro,
Oh my gosh.
We roll.
Yo.
I'm just looking at this photo from this poster, and seeing how far he's missed with that punch, man. That just shows what kind of boxing.
Blown his shoulder
My
out.
man's- He's looking over his shoulder, you know. His top's gone that way. You know what I mean? So
Wow, that was a
That's
deep
a
analysis.
That's either
He punched so far that he has to turn back round and look to see where he missed.
or it's a shot from
punch,
or
man.
it's a shot from another angle, and he's been hit with a right hook and is about to drop. You get me?
Yeah, maybe,
Yeah.
maybe,
They've called you from the
maybe
other
the guy's
side.
over here, stage left, yeah,
Yeah,
possibly.
that's it, and it's about to go down.
He got lick in his mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
He's focused on something. Now there's a glove there, so unless that's his glove, you know what I mean? He's missed.
Well, he's got white-
That might not be a miss. That might not be a miss. He might have landed that.
But you know what that look says? This is when he realized.
Yeah, he fucked up. He knew. He fucked up.
Yeah.
Photoshop Leon Edwards footing there.
100%.
And just one more that is because like a disappointment for me is the new version of House Party.
Yes.
Like a void
Yes.
for me.
No
swear I
spoilers.
said
No
that.
I
spoilers.
haven't
No
seen
spoilers.
that yet.
No,
I swear I said that.
It's just
Go on.
when you watch the original and then you watch this and what they try to pay homage in certain places, but the whole
Yeah.
thing just feels hashed together.
Yes.
And then it takes a weird turn
Yes.
at one point in the film. A really
Yeah,
unusual
yeah,
turn.
yeah. Did you see it? That
Right.
just threw me right off. I said, "Nah, you. This is where the conspiracy theorist people come in and say, see,' and that's it.
And it's interesting that
Is
it
it
actually
femininized?
features
Way past that.
the original.
Oh no. Oh,
Say that again. Say that again, Dave.
I said it's interesting that it features the original two members.
At
wow.
at that point,
It's very interesting.
it's so deep.
Yeah, if you do,
It's so
if you do
deep.
really want to see it just for sort of research purposes, fine. But I wouldn't say, yeah, this is something I'm going to tell you.
Yeah,
it's gonna be a
don't-
great
So
film.
this is
have-
for a
You're
newer
gonna enjoy
audience.
it.
Then this is for people. It sounds like this is so would you say that this is aimed at people who have not seen the original? It's trying to introduce to a new audience, or
Well,
is it
this is
aimed at us who know the original as well?
I don't think it's
I
not
don't
aimed
know
at
what
us
they
who are the
attempted.
original. They just
Said-
took a brand name, and thought, oh, let's do a new one. It wasn't in keeping with the same flow, the same energy. They took a couple of the dances, but other than that, the chemistry just wasn't there.
It was
And I
supposed
just
to be
feel
a
that's
remake.
something- It was supposed to be a remake.
Yeah.
That wasn't a remake.
Yeah, I know it wasn't.
Yeah, that
I
wasn't
know
a
it wasn't.
remake, in
It
my
was.
humble
It was
Is it-
offensive.
Is it the
was
type of
very
house
offensive.
party we'd like to go to?
No,
He needs some milk.
If we were at that house party, would we leave?
Yes.
yes.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Yes.
Everybody's
we
standing
didn't
even-
by the
they
wall with
didn't-
the phones out. Everybody's on the phone.
Because they didn't even fill up the house properly, even though they would have had the actors there to do it. They didn't get the angles right, so you feel like it's a party. Just
Spot
felt,
on.
yeah, it's
Spot
not.
on.
If we left that house party, would we take on the role of the original Full Force members and say, burning house? Burning house? And go get some petrol and burn down the yard?
There didn't seem to be anything to. Okay, when you watch films like the original, you come away and you're quoting lines left, right, and centre. Oh, you remember the part where you remember the part where you remember the part? Oh,
yeah.
And then
Yeah.
you'd be
Follow the
quoting
drip, follow the
lines
drip.
just out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Exactly. Nothing like this one.
Nothing. He's right.
Okay.
He's spot on.
Okay. All right. Before we go on, can we just say good evening to some people who come into the chat? Good evening to, I'm not sure if you've done this already, but good evening to Laney J. Good evening to who else did I see coming in? Appleton. 50 in the
Appleton.
building. I will try not to give out the government name again. Just leave it Appleton. Appleton 50, yes. Salute to the new people coming into the chat still.
Welcome.
Just on that point of Diva, and good evening to the Diva Speaks as well. Diva mentioned something in the chat about some accusations being leveled at one of the main actors in the thing in Creed 3, and she was saying that she hopes that it's not true. I think, again, I mean, these are all things that I think are again worthy of further conversation. I think we were talking about it a little bit. I think I caught some of the chat in the Telegram group today, just about accusations made like this, and particularly false ones, and the damage that the fallout from them when people make false allegations, because allegations were made in this case and now they have been retracted. Once a person was arrested, the allegations seem to have been retracted. So I think this is definitely something that another one to speak on in a future episode. And as I say that, absolutely, because I have direct experience of that too. So I definitely have some stories to share on that one. But I think it's worth picking up in a future episode. And as I say that, I just put this at the bottom of the screen. People in the chat, you've seen we've had like three ideas already for things to discuss in future episodes. If you have any ideas or anything that you think we should discuss, you'd like to hear us or see us discuss, then please drop us a line at the email on the screen right now, reachalttv@gmail.com. All right, reachalttv@gmail.com. If there's anything that you would specifically like us to discuss on the podcast.
What the Diva Speak says is very important, and that's something that we should touch on when we do that again, because they jumped on him with both feet, no hesitation.
Is this? The same guy?
Yeah, they pulled his ads from the U.S. Army ads. They pulled him.
Right.
He hadn't even been to trial. He just was arrested on allegations.
And this is where it gets deep, you know, Conrad, because when
government.
That's from spending too much personal time with each other.
If you didn't say that, that would have just flown by.
So it's my fault now.
Yes, that would have flown by.
That's my fault. Yeah,
that would have flown by. Anyway.
Yes, Trevor, it's your fault.
Yes, Winston.
Yes,
this
Herman.
is where it gets deep, right? Because when that happens, it's a reminder to everyone, to black men in particular, but also a reminder to women, that the accusation alone, is enough to do the damage that's intended. And a lot of people, and a lot of women in particular, and I'm sorry to say this, but a lot of women know this. And they know that even if it's not true, all I've got to do is say that you did X.
But it's
and
making
people are
women
going to
mad.
automatically believe it.
But it's making women mad because it's taking away their credibility when things really are happening to them.
Right. That's
Well,
that's the
this is
sadder part of it as well, grown folks, because it diminishes the voices of women who are actually going through that stuff.
The real victims.
Right.
Real victims
So
are
those
just
women
being
who
ignored
make
now.
up the stuff, it's like you are pissing on women who are actually in that, who actually need to be believed, who actually need help and support.
Yeah, it's belittling their cause.
Well,
Because
what's
it's
his
saying,
name?
we can do whatever we want to do. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And for the women that are really being victimized, it's disrespectful to them. For these
Absolutely.
women making these false
because you're just
100.
using it as a weapon. Yeah.
There was a story
it's-
yesterday about the same thing. So do you remember that there was that wave of accusations against
No Clark.
the Asian community
Oh.
up north?
Yes.
There was a story I read yesterday, and 3 men had been jailed for how many years?
One
There-
wanted to
there'd
commit
been
suicide, or two
three
tried
of
to
them.
commit suicide.
Yeah, all three of them tried to attempt
Yeah.
suicide. Their houses had been terrorized. You know what I mean? Death threats, all that kind of stuff for years. Come to find out now, it's been proven that there were false allegations. The girl has admitted she was lying.
So bad.
Do you get me?
And she got almost no time compared to what they went through.
Well, it just said she got 8 years.
Yeah, which is nothing compared to how she's ruined
That's
their lives.
nuts.
So bad.
Yeah.
And like Croc said, you see, once it's out there, once it's on the front page of the paper, once it's in the news, once it's on Twitter, that's it. That's you. If you woke up tomorrow and it said, Friction beat his wife, and it's on the Sun, it's on the Mirror, it's on Twitter.
No, it don't
it's
even
on the
need to
news.
go that far. It don't even need to go
Even
that
just on
far.
Twitter.
Just on Facebook alone,
That's it.
you will get
That's it.
rinsed because
That's you.
Cancelled.
yeah,
That's
because
cancelled.
what happens is people automatically.
Yeah.
And again, women know this. This is why you get these false allegations, because women know that once they say it, no one is going to challenge them. No one is going to challenge a woman that said, I'm a victim of abuse by sexual abuse or domestic abuse or whatever it is. No one is going to challenge them and say, well, did you have anything to do with that? No one's going to challenge them.
But
and
you
they
know what? That's
this.
how it should be. But that's how it should be.
Of course.
That's actually what it should be. You should be able to say, as a woman, this has happened to me, and you shouldn't be questioned. That's how it should be. Now, all of that's being thrown into doubt because of these things that were not true. Yeah. That would be the ideal world. A woman said something happened to her. Look, we need to take
But
care
what
of it.
happened to the premise? What happened to the premise of
Everyone
guilty
needs
until
questioning.
proven guilty? Until I
Yeah.
mean, sorry, innocent until proven guilty.
Everyone
that
needs
doesn't seem to
questioning.
apply when it is an accusation about, especially some kind of physical or whatever it is, altercation, abuse, or whatever it is, especially to black men, particularly to black men, because we have to live with that stereotype from the cradle to the grave. So it's so easy to get people to buy into that stereotypical narrative of the angry, aggressive, predatory, dangerous, black male, and too many, unfortunately, a lot of women know this.
Has anyone caught any of the Noel Clark interviews? He's been on about 4 different podcasts recently, and I'm trying to catch up on what he's been saying, because obviously he got caught up in his allegations and so forth, and the snippets that he said. But he's one of the snippets that I saw was ZZ Mills. She just blatantly asked him, "Oh, but what about you sending bodily pics to all these women and so forth?" He turned around and said, "Yeah, I sent it to the ones that asked for it." Straight. He just said it. He wasn't denying none of it. And then the comedian something London, what's her name, that went to America, she said, "Oh yeah, why are you supporting someone like him who done this and done that?" And her and ZZ have gone in. I got to go catch up. I might have a report on it next week.
Do you know what?
And see what's going on.
G-Force has made a good point, that this is it's a deep one, and we're going to need more time for this. We're going to need more time because we kind of got a little bit off. Got a little bit off.
We took a left turn.
Yeah, and I'm sorry I threw that in there, but I felt it was important that, because it was raised, I felt it was important to just highlight that and just kind of at least put a little pin it on our notice board for a future one, because it's a very, very serious, and I don't think people fully appreciate the damage that those accusations do, especially when Friction's just talking about people trying to commit suicide over and it's false, it's false allegations. It's not even like someone's repenting because they did that. It's false.
Yeah, but can you imagine what those guys went through? Those guys were in jail, right? The name's been dragged through the dirt. The Muslim and thing, and so all of those accusations of rape and all that stuff, that's completely against their religion. They're obviously so ostracized by their community. Everything got taken away from them. And they haven't done nothing. And it comes to pass that they haven't done anything.
You imagine a regular bird in itself is tough.
Yeah.
Never mind doing a bird and you're innocent.
Never
mind doing a bird for such a heinous crime.
Doing the bird, and everyone looking at you like, look at you.
You get me?
That's right. Yeah.
Every
Not just you.
Go on.
Your family. Your family.
All right, let's stick a pin. Let's stick a pin because we're gonna go on in this for till I don't even know when. So let's have we done with the reviews? Is that all our
all the reviews
reviews
I had so far?
Yeah.
People, do you think this is something we should repeat? Do you think it's
Nah,
helpful?
you know what? No, you know what?
Useful.
What's up, D's?
Diesel.
Definitely. So, no, I was going with the reviews. Carry on saying what you were saying. We can go there after.
Yeah, man. I was just saying, if people in the chat think that we should do the reviews again, do you know what I mean? Do it as a regular slot. So I think it's useful.
Monthly.
I find it useful because you lot are telling me about stuff that I either didn't know about or I've been looking at thinking, what's that about? And then you come on here and
the list is long, man.
I'd rather watch something that somebody recommends to me. Do you know what I mean?
Yes,
rather than
absolutely.
Power Book 2, Snowfall Season 6. Sorry, I can keep going. Go on, keep going. Sorry.
Yeah.
All right, let's stick a pin. Let's stick a pin.
Snowfall is the one.
Oh yes.
No Snowfall. Oh man.
And people in the chat as well. People in the chat. We appreciate your suggestions as well. All right, please let us know what you're watching in the chat. Let us know what you're watching. If there's stuff that we need to be aware of.
Oh yeah,
then please let us know as well. All right. All right. Let's keep this moving. Otherwise, we're not go done.
What's up, people? This is your boy Omar saying you're watching the Real Soundcheck podcast.
Can I big up
All
Ian
right.
Morling? Can I big up Ian Morling quickly? Ted Lasso is hilarious.
Ted
Love
Lasso's
it.
jokes. man.
Oh,
Ted
it's
Lasso's
jokes. Love it. Love it.
You know
Love it.
what, I
Love
keep
it.
seeing it, you know, and I've just
No,
Watch it.
my friend's
Just
in
watch
it,
it.
actually.
Just
so-
watch it. Oh, it's brilliant. Brilliant.
You lot of
Brilliant.
jokes.
was that
You lot of
low-key
jokes.
floss? What was that? Your friends in it?
You lot of jokes. You lot of jokes.
You know.
You lot
Yeah,
of
a
jokes.
friend of
he just
mine.
dropped
He's,
it.
All right.
he's one of
Friction.
the office characters.
Oh, is he?
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
All
you
right.
know him as well, but yeah.
Friction. Over to you.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So, unfortunately, another potentially sensitive topic. So, I'm sure we all agree that black music and black culture is very influential. Yes.
Yes.
It's played a significant role in shaping various genres of music: jazz, blues, rock, reggae, soul, hip hop, R&B, dance, and so on.
Yep.
It's been a source of inspiration for many different mediums, and there's been a variety of other cultures who have incorporated elements of black music and culture in their own art. Black music and culture has influenced fashion, dance, arts, and again, many different artists have from different cultures have adopted the style and trends and associated with black music and put it in their own. No spoilers, Croc, please. The culture. The cultural impact of black music extends beyond the entertainment industry, again influencing politics, language.
Yep.
Everything.
Facts.
Yeah, it cross-cuts everything.
Facts.
The appropriation of black music and black culture by other cultures is a controversial issue, and that's kind of what we're here to discuss. So,
this is good.
So what angle are we coming at with this? What angle are we coming at with this?
all right.
Let him drop. Let him
So,
drop.
so
the
I'll
bomb.
give you the context. For me, I live in a predominantly white area. Yeah, I live in Kidderminster. Do you get what I'm saying? Not very culturally diverse. However, when I go out on my streets and walk around my estate and drive up and down, I see white versions of the man them. You get me? I see, and keep in mind, yeah, my son has experienced hella racism growing up around here. Yeah,
Right.
from within the first few months of us moving here. However, I see white boys with their man bags, their GRM daily uniforms on. Do you get what I'm saying? Anything you would see on GRM daily, they're rocking it.
The Roadman starter kit.
Exactly. However, these are the same youths who are expressing racism towards my son, and I'm saying, hold on now. You're clearly influenced by a culture that I live in. Like this is my culture. Do you get what I'm saying? But you're racist. You don't. It's like you want the culture,
add up.
but you don't want where the culture come from.
Yeah. Yeah.
They've still
you get what I'm
got to
saying?
They've still got to go home. So anyway, go on.
So the conversation is really in terms of we're all aware that our culture is influential across many different mediums. Life, wagwan is now just a universal statement.
Yeah, for real.
Do you get what I'm saying? So how do people feel about other cultures benefiting and monetizing black culture?
They have to.
What do you mean they have to?
Yeah,
They have to.
Elaborate on that.
They have to. They if any other culture was out there and being predominantly as influential and as powerful, I'm sure for some reason we would gravitate to it. Wouldn't we?
So I'm going to say no, only because black culture has always been something that we've created ourselves. We've never looked outside to create our own culture. So as black people, I don't think we would decide to be like somebody else.
I understand that, but I'm saying if it was as powerful, if it was as, I'm trying to think of a culture that Chinese culture has been very, very influential to black people. There's a lot of black people that live the way of the Chinese and study martial arts, study their things, They have that. There was a synergy in the late 60s and 70s. Well, after the Second World War, there was a lot of synergy between blacks and Chinese. So, and people grew up in that way, having a sensei, having a master, and studying martial arts and stuff like that.
But did that really come from them? Because didn't we back in Africa have something similar?
Oh, yes.
So I don't know if that came from. I don't know if we.
But I'm just saying, in the modern day, another culture has influenced ours.
But then the ones who go to China and practice those things, they have an honor and respect for where they're actually learning
for the
it
culture
from.
that they're in. Yeah.
Yes,
that they're
they
embracing.
don't try and take it as their own or monetize it as their own. That's the slight difference that I'm seeing.
Okay.
Yeah. And also,
are we forgetting the? This is why I was a bit blasé about it. Are we forgetting what country we're in? Oh, sorry. It's the country for everybody. Is that what it is? Is that where we are? Are we doing that? Are we saying it's not theirs and we are guests, or it's all of ours and where are you taking it from?
You've lost me a bit, but yeah, I'm lost as well. But
no, you don't need to be. I'm just saying, which is it? Are we in a predominantly white country, so it's their way of looking at us as immigrants, and they're going to live our lifestyle, or is this country for everybody? It's a multicultural country, and we can all bring our cultures here and live universally. Which one is it?
We're in a primarily white world.
No, I'm on about this country. I can't speak about it. I have never lived anywhere else.
So let's ask the other guys. Are we ring fencing this for the UK or is this globally?
Let's talk about what we know.
I mean, all of us have information about everywhere. So
yeah, in terms of bringing the topic to the podcast, for me, it was what's happening in my day-to-day life, what I'm seeing, and what my family's been impacted by. So that's why it came as a discussion point. In terms of like the argument I laid out, obviously the impact of black culture is global. Clearly, you look at the biggest genre of music in the world is hip hop. You know what I mean? It wasn't always hip. It wasn't always hip hop. You know what I mean? But it's one of them. It might not be the one, but it's one of them. In terms of what you know what I mean?
It's really low down if you look at the global scale. They'll put classical, country and western, and dance music. They'll put all of those above. They'll falsify the evidence and tell you they're all above.
Sales is interesting because chart-wise it will be hip hop.
Or someone fact check if someone's got their laptop open.
Wise, it will be hip hop.
And even I mean, and again in terms of influence, that's what it is. It's more the influence.
Yeah.
You know, in terms of global impact and influence. In terms of you go to any country, you're gonna hear and see something that has been influenced by black music and black culture. However, what I'm saying is my day-to-day experience has been, or is sometimes those same people that love the culture hate the people.
In a country where the national dish was a curry, I think you've got to then understand that they can only take other influences around them. I just see it cut and dry like that. I'm sorry.
I think that Simone raised a good. Sorry, Gronfos, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to highlight that Simone raised a good point. Just quite succinctly, she said what we were talking about was appropriation and not appreciation. And I think that is a defining thing here. Black culture, along with most other aspects of our culture, is raped by everyone else without the appreciation, without the acknowledgement or the recognition or the respect of its origins. I think that is the main difference. And I don't see that any other culture has that level of that treatment to it apart from ours.
Yeah. You look at these whole social media influencers and these social media minor celebrities. There was that guy that got licked by the bike. What was his name? Something Why You Go Fast. What was his name? He got hit by a bike. He was fixing a wheel on a car. It was just a viral video. And someone rode the bike into him, and he's like, "Oh, why you come fast?" That was it. That was the moment. Off the back of that, that went viral. And off the back of that, they tried to give this guy a career as a social media influencer. What was the first thing they done? They wrote some rap lyrics for him, put him in front of a Bentley, and put 2 scantily clad women next to him. Do you get what I'm saying? To try and give him, to try and launch him and make him relatable to a community. Do you get me? Or a geographic that would buy into that. And I'm like, why didn't you use your own music? You're not from that culture. Why are you rapping? Why are you running with that image?
Let me throw a spanner in the works here, then Friction, in this conversation, and pose this question to all the man them on the screen and to all the people in the chat. To what extent are black people, because we're talking about black culture, so to what extent are black people or genuine lovers of black culture complicit to what we are talking about? Complicit.
Yeah. And I want to just respond to that directly.
Sorry, say that again. Sorry, I want to hear it again. Sorry.
To what extent are black people or genuine lovers of black culture complicit in what we are talking about? Friction.
Yeah. And that's what grieved me about that situation there, because you've got him, you've got them 2 white guys that do the grime. Those two grime granddads.
Oh yeah. You
got
Frank.
You got grime granny, whatever her name is.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got all of these, and artists that we would hope would be, defenders of the culture, will endorse them. We'll feature with them. We'll put them on their track and do tracks with them, and give them the platform, almost like give them a rite of passage. Say, yeah, man, you're cool. Come, I'm giving you entrance. I'm approving the thing. And I just think, nah. Someone needs to stand up and say, nah.
So I guess my thinking in posing that question is that a lot of this is largely driven by money, all right? Or whether it be sales of tune sales, album sales, concert ticket sales, what have you, all right? And
nice question, Ian.
Although you can talk with your money, whether you're spending it or not spending it. You understand? And to what extent? Again, I'm going back to what extent are we complicit in this by supporting what we see happening in the industry? You understand? Because I know for myself, I take my own personal stance against lyrics in tunes. Like, a lot of the time, if I will not play the slackness, or if there's a clean version and a club version, I will gravitate towards the radio edit or the clean version, because that's my personal stance against that. An interesting thing that came out of the survey that happened with One Nation was a lot of the women said that they found One Nation they felt it's a safe place to come on their own as women. And that is partly because when we go there, we don't play the best slackness and whatever, and you can go there and it's just a different, we take a stance, basically. That event takes a stance on the music and the culture that we want to push and promote. So to what extent, again, are we complicit with what we see happening around us?
Can we pick up some of the comments? Because people putting comments in here.
From Ian Morling here.
I don't want to guys. Go on.
Before I go, has her hair braided. I wouldn't get upset personally, Ian, because I don't know that girl's story. You understand? If I just see a white girl on the street with her hair in cane row, I don't know her story. You know what I mean? I don't know the makeup of her family or who done her hair or what the context is of that. So I'm not going to see that and get upset.
Yeah.
What did get me upset, Ian, is one time when I watched one of them breakfast programs. I think it was like GMTV or something like that, and there was white people on there plaiting these blonde white women's hair, calling it French braids.
Yeah.
That upset me. Calling it French braids. That's when we're talking about the appropriation without the appreciation or the respect. You understand?
Say it for the people in the back, brother.
Listen, French braids.
Mate, I saw a post on Instagram the other day about a guy who must be, I think he's sort of framing himself as a sort of music aficionado. And he was talking about music, and he was talking about groups like Loose Ends and that sort of genre of 80s soul. But he wasn't calling it 80s soul. He was calling it post-disco. Like it was a separate... what's this post-disco? And then when he started playing the music, I went, that ain't post-disco. That's black music from the 80s, man. That's post-disco. What the hell is that? And then people just jumped into the comments, man. Like, that's just my auntie's music, man. You know what I mean?
And then you see people like the Kardashians and them, they'll do something that is clearly taken from black culture. But because they've done it, now it's a new wave.
Right.
Yeah, they just rebrand it, and now it's the thing.
Yeah.
But then, all right then. So what about the other flip side? Kim Kardashian does her makeup a certain way, and she's of a certain skin tone. But black girls, white girls, Indian girls, Asian girls, or Middle Eastern girls, all do the makeup her way, and it don't suit them. Let's keep it 5,000. Yeah, there's girls trying to do the Kim Kardashian's face, and it doesn't suit them. But because it's the in thing and it's popular to put box braids in, I know the term, and do your face with the panda eyes and everything else and look like Kim Kardashian, why isn't that appropriation?
But is that really culture?
It is. One of the most influential women in the world has got a style, and
I don't think
everyone's
that's culture.
Why not?
One person doesn't make a culture.
Yeah, that's not culture.
Say that again?
One person does not make a culture.
One person doesn't make a culture.
One person doesn't make a culture.
That's not culture, man. Our culture is not down to one person is doing something. That's not
just
the
biting
same.
one person's style.
Yeah, man, that's not the same, man.
So, all right then. So then why are we then... See, this is where it gets sticky, man. It gets sticky. I just believe you need to, know where we're there, innit? I think if you don't play that factor right, you're missing out on what's happening. We're in an island that's predominantly English, white, Caucasian, and the way that this culture actually does stuff is to mimic, replicate, and regurgitate and spit back out. And it's been happening from since before I was born. I can go on TV and see so much different things. Like, wait a minute, that's just you ripping off this and this, that, and look at the comedians. You had Lenny Henry doing a certain thing, but then you had what's his name, Stardust or Stacey. Yeah, man, with his funny
Jim
voice.
Davison.
Yeah, Jim Davison with his voice and trying to replicate things and so forth.
That was racism. Let's be clear.
Yeah,
let's
right.
be clear. That's not appropriation. That's racism.
Right, but that's what I'm trying to say. He had his voice, but he got bookings from it because he could do the black voice.
Chalky.
And
Laney J.
Chalky or whatever it was. That was it. Chalky. Look at the name and everything. So what I'm trying to say is this is what this country does. It takes, replicates, regurgitates, and spits back out. And we're supposed to just get on with it. What was that woman that was from, what was it? Supposed to be from Northwest. She was on what's his name? Stupid program about all the talent. And she had the glasses and she could rap. And she said she's from North Wheezy.
Honey
and
something.
What? Honey G.
Honey G.
Look at that. If you didn't understand how much of a setup that was, I'm Honey G and I can replicate, regurgitate, spit back out.
It's
the same thing.
But that's the exact thing. Yeah, because that's where you're monetizing a culture that doesn't belong to you.
Yeah. That's it.
You're not only monetizing or replicating because let's not miss out the obvious, right? Because there is also, you're not just monetizing, you're also, when it comes to black culture, you are disrespecting black culture. Right, because when you the whole thing the example that was just given about Jim Davison, that's just, there's nothing respectful about that. That's just straight up racism and
you cut out, bro. Say again. You cut out. Say again.
I was saying that the point you're making about Jim Davison, that's just straight up racism, and it's disrespecting black culture. There is no appreciation there. There's no respect,
and that's
or anything.
That's a defining factor. What you're saying there. That's
exactly
it. Because I'm not, and let's just be clear, I'm not opposed to white people and people from other cultures who appreciate the culture, being involved and contributing to the culture. Do you get what I'm saying? There are people who make a significant impact and a significant contribution to you know what I mean, dance, whatever it
To
is.
black
whatever.
culture. To black culture.
Exactly. And they appreciate it. They're a part of the culture.
Yes,
There
yes,
are others, and that's my issue. There are others who they want the culture, but they are disrespectful towards
Where it came
if
from.
you want to, exactly the if you want to say the owners of it then, or the managers of it, the facilitators of it. Do you get what I'm saying? They're disrespectful towards them, and it's like they just want to run with the thing. Yeah, that's
And I
my
think
issue.
I think that friction is symbolic of a wider issue, which is about how other cultures view black people and black cultures, because that same level of disrespect is not afforded so much to other cultures, especially not to the extent that it is to us.
So what happens when black culture becomes normality? Like what you're saying, Wagwan just becomes a universal greeting for everyone to say. Touching, spudding, high fives, everything is just a normal thing. It's been going on for so many years. It's just normal. It's not yours. You know, it's not black. It's not yours.
But
it gets to that point.
Because it came from
no,
us.
but I know that, but I'm just asking the question: what happens when it becomes normality?
So then
For the third or fourth generation,
and that's the thing. So
should
then
it
it's
still
a lack
get
of
its
education.
Say that again, Frick. I didn't hear you.
It's a lack of education. To get what I'm saying, it's like that's how culture gets lost. Because when people start doing that, and there's white boys who then think that's them, like that's they brought that. They need to be educated to say, nah, bro, this is way before.
Yeah, but then
gone
why?
to
Because then
research.
you're starting a race issue. Wagwan's for everyone now.
How was that a racist?
It's education. That's like
no, but then, but hold on. You could come across really racist saying that a Asian or white person can't say Wagwan.
No, I'm not saying they can't.
Nobody
but
said
I'm saying
that.
understand where it comes from and appreciate where it comes from.
You know what Gen Z say right now. It's
let me
not
just
that
say this:
deep.
if those two white boys are spudding each other when outside the shop, go on, blood, yeah, you good, yeah, boom, 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 and they see a black youth walk past and they call him a nigger or whatever, they're calling him racial slurs. They need educating.
In what sense, though?
It's like
about
the guy.
the racism.
It's like the example I gave earlier on with the French braids thing, right? So everybody starts plaiting their hair. Not an issue. People want to start plaiting their hair. That's cool. But if you're all gonna start if they're gonna start teaching the rest of the world that it is a French thing, that is the problem. Yeah, it is not a French thing. Recognize and
so as long as you pay homage, it's all right.
Brother, let me finish. Yeah.
Man.
So if you're incorrectly taking credit for something that is not yours, that is the problem. It's like I take Friction's tune and I go play, say, oh yeah, this tune, why I created, this is my tune. That's not my tune. It's Friction's tune. You understand? It's about giving the credit where it is due, and that is by and large what we do not get. People just take and then take it as their own. I'm taking from you, but I'm going to pass it off as it's my thing. I'm not going to give you no credit or ownership or no representation or whatever for this thing that you created.
So then you've said it in that context. You're talking, I would say, an unlimited amount of artists. Like if we're going to go into music with it now, you're talking thousands and thousands of artists that I personally haven't heard them say, yeah, I got it from black people, or big up black people for this. I fell in love with this. You know what I mean?
And then you have lots of artists that do. You understand? You have lots of artists that do. You have Jamiroquai will stand up, and when he wins his award, he will blatantly say, this is black music. And we have never denied that we take, or we are from black culture. We take our music inspired from black culture. There are artists that do it. Most of them, you're right, most of them won't. And that is part of the problem. Right. There are plenty of artists that will do it, and salute to them.
Yeah, and although even the ones that don't overtly say it or do it, you can tell whether they're for the culture or they're just raping the culture in how they treat the culture and how they deal with other people of the culture. Do you get what I'm saying?
Platts made a point probably goes back. The Platts thing probably goes back. Platts is talking about Platts. It goes back to Afro-Caribbeans in France hundreds of years ago, and then they rebrand and teeth the thing. Maybe so. But again, there wasn't even any link Platts to Caribbean, African, nothing at all. It was French braids. You know what I mean?
Can I just ask, because
French braids.
Parisian Platts.
I'm just wondering. If
Shiny bumps.
Exactly. I'm just wondering if we do enough to stamp and identify our culture, to then people understand where things come from, because as I said, when it becomes the norm, no one gives a shit.
So we're living our culture. You can't put more of a stamp on it than that.
Yeah, but did you hear the bit I said though? If it's ours and we're here, not being funny, and I use this term loosely, bitching and moaning that people are raping it, taking it, using it and abusing it, do they know? So everyone's pointed out the education. Are we educated them enough? Have we put the black stamp on it? That's what I'm trying to say.
It's not our job. It is not black people's job to educate every other culture on the planet. Educate yourself. That's not our job. We're not everybody's teacher.
But we are though.
No, we're not everybody's teacher. It's not our responsibility to go teach white people all about our culture and whatever. If you're going to take from the culture, know what you're taking from.
They know what they're taking. They know what they're taking.
A learning that we might have here in terms of being able to exercise some of the laws that they go by, the copyrighting, the trademarking, etc., to establish it and make sure people know where it's coming from and be able to take action if they do. So there are patterns from Africa, I believe, that have been used by some of the major fashion labels. Again, no reference, no passing back of funds or anything like that. There was, if I'm not mistaken, the American Baseball League. The black players couldn't play with the white players at one point, and then I think they set up their own league.
The Negro Baseball
and nobody
League.
was going to see the Caucasians, and they went to see the African Americans, for want of a better term. And it got to the point where it's like, well, okay, they enticed one player to come and play over with some money and a contract, and then another player with money and a contract, another player with money and a contract, and then before you know it, the African American League disbanded, and it was no longer, because of paper and pen and these laws that they put in place. So if we had educated ourselves in a certain way and created our own league and our own contracts and sorted it out ourselves, we could have kept that, and people know that baseball was predominantly supported or generated, the interest was by predominantly black players. But what do you do now? Do you create, even TikToks that are created and the dances, they were appropriated by others and then they blew up off of that. There's a gentleman, he's a comedian, he would do these skits with himself, and there was another person who would take those voiceovers and just do a big head over it, and that was it. It just blew up, and she'll get more exposure than the original comedian.
There's a movie you can watch. There's a movie you can watch about the Negro Baseball League. It's a comedy, but it's still pretty educational. It's called Bingo Long and the Traveling All Stars, and Richard Pryor was in it. And it'll give you some insight as to what went on back then with the Negro Baseball League.
I think I've seen it. Deep. It's a very, very touchy subject, because I believe that, as I said, you've just touched on it in another way: patenting, ownership, stuff like that. If it's a natural thing, the way we walk, move, dress, talk is then going to be classed as culture for other people and make them mimic and be like us and talk like us. How can you put a pattern on that? How can you you can't say that because that's our thing. How can you do that? That's
exactly what the industry does. That's exactly what the industry does. If they find something that they want to, we are moving into a slightly different arena now. When we're talking about the industry, so we're not just talking about just people who you grew up with in the area, or whatever. Like Friction was saying, is in Kidderminster and it's not very diverse and whatnot. We're now talking about the industry, which is very different from just what happens out the road. So the industry can patent things. The industry can influence laws to be created that protects itself and allows it to monetize culture. Yeah, someone who just grows up around it, then that is organic. If you grow up around. Ian Morling just put a message in the chat that he's grown up around black culture, and sometimes he finds himself saying "rah" or whatever. And I know that B Pusher would do that as well, because B Pusher grew up with us. You understand? So that's just natural. That's organic. But when you talk about the monetization, you're talking more about music, film, fashion, those kind of things. So the industry can do that, but that's one of the areas where we kind of missed the trick, because I can't remember who I was having this conversation with. I don't know if it was Rodney P. and Elaine yesterday. We were talking something about this with the London posse, and it was something about us missing a trick with this whole patenting or thing, because we were creating. We weren't really thinking about people teething our things and whatever. We were just creating.
Exactly.
So this kind of ties into something I was thinking about the other day, where I'm thinking about, do we as black people value what we create, or do we just constantly create stuff?
Because it's partly just our lives. We just get on with it. We, if anything,
and like, for example, would you say that sorry, Bush? Would you say that, for example, a different genre of music, say Bhangra, for example, that is unadulterated Indian music, and you know that you wouldn't try to falsify that.
Nobody else makes
but
it.
That makes it. No one else tries to teeth that. That is them, and they 100% champion it. They wholeheartedly support it. They wholeheartedly have their own concerts, their own music, their own thing. They've got their own film industry, Bollywood. You know what I mean? Fully supported by Indian people. The first people I knew that had video recorders back in the day. You know what I mean? Because they had a whole industry making videotapes, sending them over, and come and watch them in their yard. You know what I mean? From 1980s, mate. You know what I mean? So, is it because potentially we don't value what we create enough, or we're not thinking in that regard? We're thinking about creating and making the new cool thing, but not supporting and nurturing what we've created already. You know what I'm saying? Like, for example, hip hop become the global, as far as I'm aware, the global leader in music, and become effectively pop culture. You know what I mean? Like the music itself, the way people dress, the way people talk. Like you say, people have adopted various sayings and slang terms. It's just become the norm. You know what I mean? It's in the dictionary and thing. So
For real.
has that kind of been watered down because of the fact that we haven't nurtured it as a culture ourselves?
I don't think it's that
other people have done it, or what?
I don't think it's that
I
tech.
think
I
it's
think
a
it's
very good
because
question.
I think it's because that taking of it and watering it down was not done by the creators. It wasn't done by us who was creating and living the culture. Remember, hip hop came from, hip hop was and music in general, particularly black music in general, was as by and large being an expression of the people. And the social times and conditions that people are living in, right?
Exactly.
So while that was happening, the taking of it and watering it down, promoting, publicizing, that wasn't done by us. That was done by people who own and run the industry. So now they are the ones who are deciding what is the narrative of hip hop, what is the look, what is the image, what is it that we're going to put out to the world about hip hop. They are not from, most of them are not from the culture that they're selling. Do you understand? They're taking something and they're repackaging it, which is in a way that's not really truly representative of what the thing is, and then they're selling that, and now the world is buying their brand, what they're selling, and that's not really what the thing is about. So they will take, like Friction said, take two boys, put them in front of a Bentley and write two lyrics for them and whatever, and that's just kind of the stereotypical kind of cliche thing that has been synonymous with rap and hip-hop culture. That's not what hip-hop is about. Do you understand? So I think that's part of the problem. We are not the people who are writing or rewriting, watering down the narrative. The people who are the owners, originators of the culture are not the people writing the narrative that is being pushed worldwide.
Okay, that's fine. So why ain't we locking down the real version then?
Because we are, I would say, we are not the gatekeepers anymore. We are the owners and we are the creators, but we are not the gatekeepers of the industry. The industry is a massive global machine. We are not the gatekeepers of that machine.
I understand that. I understand that, but why ain't we locking down what we own? Why are we looking towards the industry? Why are we looking up towards them and saying, "Oh, we are
doing that more now.
And,
we are doing that more now. There's blatantly evidence of us doing that more now because we have more ability to do it. We have the internet. We have our own channels where we can do that now. We have this platform. We can do it now. We are doing it now. But we didn't have it before for the last however many decades. We didn't have that.
Yeah, you had to go to them. Sorry, yeah, go on, Tech. Go on.
Tech, you were going to say something.
No, I was. No, please continue. Go on. I'm listening. All
right.
Yeah. All I was going to say is, in terms of we spoke about it before. In terms of the distribution, the channels are democratized now, where before they weren't. So to get out, you had to go through those gatekeepers. You had to, and if they says, "Nah, it's not the one," you ain't getting. You're not getting.
You weren't getting signed. You weren't getting. That's right.
So now all of us on this channel here have our own brands. We have our own channels. Do you know what I'm saying? We're putting ourselves on. We're not waiting for someone to put us on. We're doing it. Now we might not have the capital behind us and the machine behind us to yet put us at that forefront mainstream. But in our circles, on our sort of level, we're independents. We're doing it.
There was the other question. There was the other question, Friction, about why is that? So we do. Is it even in our interest to aspire to be in the mainstream and to be bought by the mainstream? Right? Yeah. So that's a question because, like Friction was saying, and I was saying as well, you had to do that back in the day. We were not the gatekeepers of that machine, of that industry. Now we have the masters. Now we have more mastery. Not just of our content, but also what is done with it and the messages and everything that's done with it. Is it still in our interest to try and put ourselves in a system that we know is not really respectful of our culture and we know is primarily going to seek to exploit the culture and the individual and the artists? Is it in our interest to continue to keep putting ourselves in that place? Because... Go on, Butch.
No, there's another side of it that I think is just slipping just under the radar. Just under what you're saying, and I fully get the industry side of it, and I think you're 1,000% right. But I'm saying there's a turn of phrase which I learned from a very, very young age. And when I was growing up around elder men, guys, and you listen to your first hip-hop album and you're around your friend's house and hip-hop is a way of life. Yeah? That means we just get on with it. We live it, we eat it, we breathe it. You know what I mean? You know a graphic artist, you know a skateboarder, you know what I mean? A guy who can scratch, you grew up around these people and getting on with it. I firmly believe that most of the things in our culture are just way of life. It's just the way we are. And the elements are then looked at by the people that you're talking about, and they say, that is very interesting. That should be monetized, patented, and redistributed to the masses. And I think that because we're just living it, we're not thinking about the expense about it. Man is breakdancing because they're breakdancing. They're not worried about it can make a movie. They don't care about that. They're worried about just doing the 360 and can I land it?
We're starting to care. We're starting to care because we are now starting to have that mastery over our own destiny and creativity. Butch, there is no doubt. We are absolutely starting to do that, right? Because there you see independent platforms and artists springing up and they are doing it without labels, without that whole machine, right? So there is definite clear-cut evidence that we are learning and we are catching up. And we are moving away from that machine that I was going to come up with the next funky word there, but I'm going to allow it. That machine that it doesn't really do us justice. To
me, the whole thing is I mean, sort of going back to what I was saying before, is understanding the value of the art that we're creating. And I think the problem with things like hip hop is that, to me, as a person sort of growing up with it, it kind of feels that we, when I say we, not just us here, but we as people who love hip hop, maybe realized the magnitude of the thing and the magnitude of hip hop down the line.
Yo, Tech.
Yeah?
Yo, you have to say that again. You froze for a moment there, bro.
Oh, did I? Okay. Am I okay now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're good now.
Yeah, I think we realised the magnitude of what hip hop was as a sort of a money making thing way down the line, because that wasn't even on our radar. And
and that's what I'm trying to say.
You know what I'm saying? We realised that down the line. We were just
life. It's just life.
Yeah.
To have your clothes baggy, to go out and wear construction man boots and flick it with a construction man's jacket and throw it on and call it an outfit, wearing your clothes 3-4 times bigger. It's just life.
Yeah.
It's not.
And I think,
it's not
as
a
well, if
thing
you go
to monetize an industry, and I don't think no one's thinking that. They're just living in the culture and just living how they want to live. But then other people see it as, wait a minute, you're very popular because you look like that and sound like that. I want that. I want that monetized. I want to get that. You know what I mean? I can make more money off that if I could put him over there and do that there, and that's that thing that is, you can't pattern that. I can pattern it. You can't make that to the masses. I can. And we're not thinking about that because we're just living our lives.
But the thing is that the difference, like I was saying, the example of like Bhangra and like those sort of Asian genres of music, is that the people that the music's probably been abused in India, but by other Asian people. You understand? Do you know what I mean? While maybe we feel that's a different sort of a different process here with hip hop. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think that's what it is. I think people were just living it, doing it, and caught on late that it is such a big thing. But I think that is coming around in the way that, for example, graffiti artists are realising that actually it is art.
It is art.
And people are doing canvases and selling it for a lot of money.
Stupid
you know
money.
What I mean? You know what I mean? You got man from Wolverhampton, man Temper, doing very well with his art studio and making canvases. You got people like Banksy doing crazy things on guerrilla graffiti that's worth millions. You know what I mean? And again, got a lot of other artists doing amazing things, man.
Yeah. Good point. You mentioned Temper there. Obviously, Temper's a white guy. Do you get what I'm saying? And this is being clear that white's not a racist issue.
It's not at all.
No, it's not.
Temper's a white guy, yeah, and he's a successful graffiti artist. You talk to him about culture and about black culture and hip hop culture.
He's been in it from day one. From day one. Yeah, man.
Listen.
From day one.
But there we go.
That's to the culture.
100% hip hop.
And there we go. That's what I'm trying to say. There's those people who, how can I see it as the art form that it is and understand its roots. And there's always been people like that. That's why Mr. Rodigan gets his whiplash and backlash and whatever, but he saw a certain type of music as an art form, fell in love with it, got into it, and lived it, eat it, and breathed it for most of his life. Yeah. Okay, you like him, you don't like him, whatever, but that's how he's done it. He's done it like your graffiti guy. He understands where it comes from, the house that it come from, the studio it come from, the person who cut it. This is the cutting studio. This is where it is. Some other people don't care. They're just playing music. But he sees it as an art form. He respects it as the form that he is. And I think that that's what it is. There's that disparity that where we can't put our finger on because we're too quick to say, oh, you're just taking our stuff. Remember the point that you turned around. Hold on, let me finish. The point that really kicked this off was, you know, two possible white boys talking to what's his name's son, and they look like him, they're just like him, they're giving him wagwan, but then at the end of the day they want to turn around and call him a nigger or whatever else, and etc. etc. When you think about it, what we used to say, like as you said, Beat Pusher and them lot say rah and whatever, wagwan's their version. They're just living it. Wagwan is nothing to them. Everybody says it. It's just a thing. They're living it. It's a next generation thing. Whereas us as elders, like, rah, you sound black, fam. You sound black. Like, I speak to Asian man from East London and I work with them in thing and I'm like, yes, blood. Yeah, Tutu's blood. I'm going yard, bruv. When I hear the man there talk to me, I'm like, what? And I'm like, okay, I'm mid-40s, allow it, they're only 22, rare, but I'm listening to how they talk. And I have to get in my van, I'm like, wait a minute, arting is just a way of life now. Arting is just a way of life. East London Asian boys are just on this, like on this talking black thing. Not the sense that there is, but that's the words that they use, and using yard, tutus, love fam, rare, you know what I mean?
So
we've already
sorry,
kind of
sorry to butt in, Butch. So
Yeah, go on.
friction. I'm just trying to get clear on this, because I think somehow I've lost the plot on where we are. I thought Friction was making a point about them using things that are our culture, but not respecting us as a people, or respecting where it came from, or monetizing it. I didn't think it was just because a word gets used, it's okay to use it. Yeah, it is okay to use it, but I don't think that's where we started out, unless I'm wrong.
It's
No,
not,
no,
because I'm in the same place, Conrad.
Right,
because
so
I'm
let me
like,
explain
sorry,
it, because
grown
obviously
folks, grown folks.
Sorry. No, because as I said to you, he done it again, innit? As I said to you, I'm not trying to defend, I'm not trying to defend that one point. So making that one point, I get where you're coming from. The point that I'm trying to make is there are certain things that are just a way of life.
Yeah, we
People are
got
just
that,
living
Butch.
it.
We got that.
That's
We got
it.
that, bro. We got that.
So
we
then
got
it
that.
answers
But
the question.
Friction
That
is raising
answers
a
the
different.
question.
Now, Friction is coming the thing from a different angle.
Yeah,
bro. We got
but it's
that.
the same answer.
It's not the same answer.
Why is it not? Tell me.
Because
it's
people,
normalized in society. Go on, Croc. Go on.
Go Friction, say it. You
Because
said it.
people who grow up with the
Yeah.
culture around it, they normally respect the culture. They're not trying to take the piss out of it.
Yeah.
So when you have someone like Ian or Beat Pusher saying raw or wagwan or whatever, they are respecting of the culture. When
Right.
Jim Davison does it, who you gave the example of, he's
Right.
not respecting of the culture, bruv. You
Okay.
understand? He's disrespecting the thing. So
Okay.
it's not just about it being a way of life. If people grow up around it and it's a way of life for them as much as it is for us, then it's a way of life. That's cool.
Yes.
Nobody's raised any issue with that. What we're talking about is when people are taking and are not respecting, not accrediting where you have got that from. When you're disrespecting it and you're not accrediting where it's come from. That's really what we're talking about.
In what sense, though? In what sense? In what finite sense? Because
in
you
the
said,
sense of the
you said
example
not
that
talking.
I gave the example before about the braids thing, the hair thing, or I gave example of if I take Friction's tune or whatever and I say it's my tune, or I don't accredit him with being the owner or originator of that thing, or the way that the industry will take certain elements of hip hop, right? Why is it? Ask yourself, why is it that you can hear bare slackness of hip hop, reggae, or black music in the pop charts, but when you want to find artists who are talking constructive lyrics that are positive, uplifting for black people, you got to search for them. You can't find them in the pop charts. You have to go and do your own digging and find them on Bandcamp and whatnot. Why is that? They're not respecting of the culture. They're not just taking.
I think that's
not
I think
copy
you've
and
gone
paste.
off-
That's not
I think
copy and
you've-
paste. You're taking a selective part of the culture that you can monetize, and the negative, the worst base part of our culture, and monetizing that, popularizing that. So now we have to be on this podcast talking about what was it? Monitoring what our children listen to. There was that podcast that we did where I don't even know if I was on. I think I was in Jamaica listening to that. Were you talking about monitoring, having to monitor what our children listen to?
Do we censor what our children listen to?
Thank you. Why is that? Because the industry is taking the worst base parts of our culture and popularizing that, repackaging that, and selling that back to us. Selling that, imagine that, selling that back to us. I thief something from you, I'm going to repackage it, and then I'm going to sell it back to you. How about that?
Yeah. Elvis Presley.
Sure.
Oh,
Yeah, but then we
Please.
can. I just think there's appropriation. There's appropriation. There's
Elvis Presley's a whole chapter in itself.
That's what I'm saying.
A
Elvis
whole
Presley.
chapter. A whole chapter.
Remember Jem, him and John Wayne.
What? Whole chapter.
Exactly.
Just a little question about if anybody knows about the because I like the graffiti comment, which is graffiti was a thing that people were running around doing on various surfaces and whatnots. But did anybody who was it that said, okay, this is an art form that we can actually put into buildings, or here's a wall that you can use? Was it given to the graffiti artist first, or was it someone who came along and said, I like what that is, I'm going to do it here. Can I do it over here, Mr. Councilman? Yeah, sure you can, because I know you and you're my friend. As opposed to giving space for those who are doing it at the time a creative outlet.
Do you know what, Dave? The thing, I think that, boy, do you know what? There's going to be all kinds of different scenarios with that, depending on who the artist knows, you know, and what the specific circumstances are with that individual artist. The thing that kind of, because with Goldie, for example, Goldie was the first graffiti artist in Wolverhampton to have an art exhibition at Wolverhampton Art Gallery. No one before him no graffiti artist before him had an art exhibition at an art gallery. And that was kind of like a watershed moment, because it was, in a way, kind of made him bring that talent cross over into the masses, if you like. Whereas for us, like Butch was saying before, for us, that we already knew that was art. We already saw that as art. We already recognized that as art. We didn't need anybody else to come and take it and tell us it's art. We know it's art. We're doing it. We're living it. We already appreciate that, and we give him his props whenever he does it. Do you understand? But now, again, we go back to the point what I was saying before of who is it who is picking up the elements of our culture, repackaging it, and making money off it, and then want to sell it back to us, who's now going to say now that it's art. We done knew it was art from the get-go. Do you understand what I'm saying?
And you honestly think that's got nothing to do with the island we're on?
I never said it. Who said it had nothing to do with that?
I'm just asking. So, in other words, it's because we're here. If we were somewhere else, like, I don't know, Africa or in the Caribbean or whatever, you think it would be different?
In terms of graffiti artists?
In the terms of someone else seeing something that you don't see yourself, packaging it and selling it on. Do you think it's because we're here? It's just part of the culture. They look at Indian culture, black culture, this culture, and take it and package it, and then have their people do it and spit it back out at us? Or would the same thing happen in Africa? Would the same thing happen in the Caribbean?
Like we said, well, like I said earlier on, this happens. This is a global thing. It doesn't just happen in this country. It's a global thing, and I can't see any other culture on this planet that has this level of treatment to it more than black culture. If there is one, then somebody tell me.
Yeah. Again, just on that point as well, if you look at you must have all seen that social media post where it's showing traditional African patterns and then showing how Louis Vuitton.
Yes.
All
talk the things.
Raped it out. So yes, it's not just because we're here. It's happened across
talk the things.
History.
Brother,
you know I'm saying the masks, everything.
You see when you go down a Brixton market there, right? And you see X amount, every one of the African clothes shop.
Yeah.
Who own the shop them? You think how we own the shop them?
Wow.
Right. Wow. And when you go to them same Mondays area, you go down a Hounslow, Southwark, or wherever it is, you think you're going to see black man a sell Indian clothes?
Not a chance.
All right. Don't talk. But don't talk.
So so then it raises that question. We don't know how to look after our own shit.
It's not that we don't know how to look after, Butch. It's that we do generally, and I'm trying not to get into too broad with the generalizations here. But we are, when you're creating, I think black people, we're just generally busy creating. And it's not that we don't care or not able, but we're not necessarily thinking, now we are being more mindful that someone's going to teeth my thing. So I got to be mindful now about what I do and how I put it out there, because someone's going to teeth my thing and appropriate my thing and put it out there. So now we are being more mindful, but I don't think
it's deeper as well, Croc, because we came to the race a lot later than everybody else that was halfway down the track. So they had a lot more resources to make things happen that we just didn't have. So it's not that we weren't minding our thing. We didn't have the ability to do anything.
All the
about it.
resources, all the resources.
So
Remember, again, bringing back to the point of where we there, know where we are. We didn't have them resources there. Most of us are just trying to survive on a daily and eat food, much less live pretty and get big expensive deals and all them live them kind of lavish lifestyle. Most of us are too preoccupied just trying to survive and stay alive.
Yep.
And look good.
And look good.
Well,
Diesel, your camera's
even
gone.
Don't even go there about look good, but yeah.
Gents, it's 11:15. We're going to have to wrap this up. We're going to have to wrap this up because we're 50 minutes over time already. Thank you so much to everyone who has participated in the conversations this evening. I hope you've all enjoyed it. Thank you to all the people in the chat. I'm sorry we didn't get through more of your comments. Sometimes these chat moves really, really quick, and it's a real struggle to keep up with all of your comments. So please forgive us if we don't get through to every one of you. Please forgive us. We are trying. All right, we will do better, but we're trying. We're trying. All right. So thank you to everyone in the chat. Salute to all the brothers on screen.
Simone, don't say
Simone.
that. Don't
Cut
say
it
that.
out. Cut it out, Simone.
What are you saying?
Frustrating.
She said she was
Frustrating
coming
coming
here.
here.
Sorry, man. We apologise.
We're
Hey,
seeing the
listen.
streets, Simone.
We're just
We will
talking
see
the
you in the
things.
streets.
Listen, like Dave Knight done warned you already, you know. Dave Knight done warned you already. He said the topics, Charlie, you might feel it. You might feel it. You understand? So yeah, we'll be back again every Monday 9 p.m. Don't forget you can catch the replays on Spotify and on Mixcloud. You will get an edited version of this on YouTube. Should be up by tomorrow. Mr. Diesel back. Welcome back, sir.
on, mate.
Before we leave,
that monkey magic comment, we might have to put that into the
what's this?
the table.
Bigger picture. Has African culture, Indian culture, Islamic culture ever been recognized? Medical advancement, amazing architecture, philosophy is never credited. True that. Europeans have only pushed themselves forward. Isn't that part of the basis of colonialism and an underlying subliminal racism? Of course, 100%. Spot on, monkey magic. They will take your things, make money from them, and make themselves look good in the process. 100% monkey magic. 100.
Boom.
And let's be clear. Let's be clear. This is, we're talking more about a system here. All right, so I don't want anyone to think that this is like Friction said, just be clear, this is not a racial thing, because there are plenty of white people that are loving and respectful and have grown up in as much around black culture as we have. This is not a race thing. Let's be clear. This is a systematic thing. Yeah, but monkey magic 100%. 100%. Right, when are we on this week, folks? Because we're going to have to wrap this up. So when can we catch you all on screen, or when are you out a road next? Grown folks, can we begin with you, sir?
Oh, absolutely. So you can catch me on Mondays on Channel Radio from 7 to 9 p.m. You can catch me here directly after that with my brothers. On Thursday, you can catch me at 7 p.m. on Twitch. I'll be doing my stream. And on Saturday, 10 a.m., you can catch me on Digital Soul Radio.
Boom. Thank you very much, sir. Friction.
Yeah, Wednesday, hopefully we're going to be running the Old School Hip Hop Raid Train again with the brothers. Friday, 8 till 10, Fricktape Mixtape show on Twitch. And if you haven't already done so, make sure you go and check out casualbrunch.uk. The early bird tickets are all done, so standard release is now out.
What's the date for that, Friction?
Saturday, the 6th of May, so it's the first Saturday of the bank holiday weekend.
Nice one. And that's happening where?
It's in Brum, Channel 7 bar, and it's Diesel's birthday as well, so it's going down.
What time is that, please? What's
it's
the time?
2 till 8, so it's an early thing. It's kind of an all-day, 2 till 8. Casual brunch, soul, hip-hop, funk, just nice vibes. Nice. All right. Tech.
Yo. Next couple of weeks I'm off, mate, because my birthday is on Thursday. So I'm out.
Oh, happy birthday, Governor.
Happy birthday.
There you go. 21 again.
Nice.
So I'll probably be back on.
You look good for 60.
Damn.
Yeah, anyway. Why not go about your business? You were better in Jamaica, mate. Fuck off. Yeah, so I'll probably be back on Monday, back on the real sound check, because I'll be off this week.
Cool. All right. Butch.
Thank you, Natasha. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, I'll be back on soon. Just knocking out things behind the scene. B-side should be returning soon. Sunday, 7 p.m.
What about open house?
Open house. Anyway, everything's it's getting redone. I'm just going through a little bit of a rebranding and recruitment as well. So. Yeah,
right.
Streaming will
Big
commence.
things are going on. Big things are going on behind the scenes. Butch, question for you. That record in the frame behind you, is that Tidra Moses? Be Your Girl?
Yes, it is signed.
Aye. I thought I recognised it.
Yeah, signed by the lady herself.
All right. I will be back tomorrow. I think I came back on last week just for an hour, but I wasn't well, so I couldn't finish my stream. But I'll be back tomorrow, resuming my usual schedule, 7 p.m. till 9 p.m. Tuesday on Twitch, and also Wednesday. If we're doing the hip hop raid train, old school hip hop raid train, I will definitely be in this week. I'm looking forward to getting back into that as well. Good evening to Nikki Han. Good evening, Nikki Han. I've just seen the name pop up in the chat. Good evening. And Diesel, Mr. Diesel, tell the things. What's going on, sir? What's going on in this week?
This Friday, we are down at the Ravensbury for the love of music. Myself, MC Half Pint, DJ Croc, CLK, and Spotlight Foundation.
Butch Cassidy.
It's going to be in the building.
Try to get myself a booking. No, it's all right. No.
That was
Blatant. Turn up and send it
Blatant.
Your pitch needs some work, brother.
Blatant. Raw.
You need some work, fam.
Turn up, plug in a laptop and send it in.
Just handcuff himself to the booth.
Them old school ways, innit? Yeah, that's how it used to be. Turn up with your box. I'm on the bill. But yeah,
sorry,
man,
go on,
that's
brother.
this Friday. No, that's this Friday. Ravensbury, for the love of music. Going to be down there.
What times are that?
It's 9 p.m. till 2 a.m. Yeah, and we're all just going to be shelling, man. Going to have DJ Shellers ×4 in the building.
Shelling tumble.
Yeah, man. Definitely.
All right.
So,
and your live streams?
Live streams. Hopefully, I'll be back tomorrow, 9 o'clock. Wednesday, old school hip hop rain train. Thursday, I'll be on with MC Half Pint. Probably.
What time is that?
Generally, all around 9 o'clock.
Okay. Yeah, you was late last week, my brother.
No. It's
with a bottle of rum.
Half pint.
What's the deal?
Yo, I saw some
picture of an empty bottle of rum.
Yeah, hey, mate.
I saw some drunken clip.
Let me just speak the things, right? Because I streamed last week Thursday, right? And then I raided over to Mr. Diesel. And my man was going on some things, you know. These two were just working their way through a bottle of rum. And then two Diesel start spit bars and start chatting.
Over jungle, right? Over jungle.
Yeah.
I was put under pressure. Pressure.
Yeah, that was real.
But 3/4 of a bottle of rum will do that as well, innit? So, you know.
I despise rum.
I saw that. I was like, I want this. Thank you, Michi Boo, who's put the link in the chat. Yes.
You know what the joke was, though? I don't think Half Pint spat anything. You know what I mean? It was Diesel twice. And he had the mic. You know, all Diesel.
He done the little thing.
For those who's looking to come to For the Love of Music this Friday, Michi Boo has put the ticket link in the chat for you. All right. Thank you, Michi Boo, for that.
Thank you, Michi.
Respect. Fellas, it's been great to be back. I know I've been away for a minute. Where am there? You know what? This man want to turn on some light around there, you know, because. Turn on some light, man.
Ninja.
I need
The elusive Dave Knight.
Do you know what I mean? Sorry, my brother.
Lurking in the
Sorry, my
shadows.
brother.
That's
Here,
cool,
literally.
Nigerian Batman.
Nigerian Batman.
Hey, the way I will batarang you.
Nigerian Batman.
That was. I'll send you that link, mate. You know what?
The darkness of the night.
Darkness. I was born in the darkness.
Oh dear.
Where are you streaming?
I'll be popping up, if anything. A couple of weeks' time, I'll be on a boat party, the Got Soul boat party. But in between time, you can.
What's the date
check
for that,
out
Dave? What's the date?
The
for that?
7th of April.
Okay.
And in between time, you can check out a flavor of what I like to play when I'm streaming at caramelradio.com.
Cool. Nice. 7th of April. That's a Friday, right?
Correct. Yes. Good Friday.
All right. So here, when you're done with the Got Soul boat party, just make your way down to Brixton for One Nation Under a Blues. We are back.
Okay.
We are back. We are back. April 7th. We are back. All right, in full effect. Yeah, we got some surprises up. I got some surprises up my sleeve for that night as well. And the set is sounding crisp once again because I've been up there a couple of times for Just Vibes, just doing sound and technicals for them. And I've got the new bass in there now, so everything is just. Oh, mate.
Oh, we were talking about your bass.
Yeah,
I was telling these guys last
mate.
week.
I got the double 12s in there. They're firing.
Sorry, we just need some context because when I was at this session when Thing and Blitz was playing,
yes,
what was the issue with the security guard going at this about 3 or 4 times to you? What was the issue?
I think he was trying to
bass
say
too
turn.
dark.
Yeah, the bass was too.
The bass too
that was
dark.
The bass
do you know
too
what?
dark.
And I only had that night. Did I have 1 or 2? I can't remember what. I can't remember that I had 1 or 2 basses, but yeah, it was the bass. It was the bass.
Yeah, well, I was telling these guys last week, like, I have to commend you, man. The sound sounded crisp. And then more so when the guy done the live PA, Chris, and I had to say, yeah, man, in a venue like that, with a sound like that, for him to do his live PA, and it sounds so crisp, I was like, yeah, man, proper. So,
Respect,
salute, man.
respect.
Can I quickly say, for those saying happy birthday, it's not but my birthday falls when Friction's event is. It's Tech's birthday. That's coming up, so I'm not until May.
Yeah, so send all that love my way, man. Thank you very much. Thank you. I'll take all the love. Thank you. Please and thank you.
But thank you anyway.
Respect. Right, so before we leave, thank you guys for honouring Busy last week. Obviously, myself and Diesel weren't here because we were at the funeral. I'll just say that Busy had a beautiful send-off. And I hope that when it's my time, I have people saying such wonderful, beautiful things about me.
For real.
It was beautiful and it was fitting.
For real.
And it was it was fitting and it just showed just how many lives that brother touched a positive way.
For real.
You know what I mean?
You missed the shellings at the end though.
Did I?
Gosh. Oh my gosh.
Yo, we were done by then, man. We were done by then. But Diesel, have you got anything you want to say on that because you were there as well?
Yeah, no, literally you said it all. Like, I knew Busy had a massive impact, man, but until we were, at the church and we were listening to everybody speaking about him and, just things that we saw, there was a hell of a lot of stuff that he was doing that I didn't even know about. You know what I mean? I've had strangers come up to me and tell me, Busy taught me this or blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? He was such a powerful figure, man. It was just, it was amazing to be there and see how much he accomplished at such a young age, man.
Most
def. Amazing guy, man.
Such a waste.
Busy, man. It was.
Rest
you know what? I'm not even gonna. I'm trying to get away from.
Waste.
Yeah, I'm trying to get away from that, Tech, because I'm trying to be like, you know what? When it's your time, it's your time, and so it's not really about the length of your life. It's more about what you do with your time that you have. You know what I mean? And Busy did the most with the time that he had. You know what I'm saying? There was so much. His work ethic was stupid. It would like put most people to shame. But that's why he was making moves and advancing, because he was putting in the work. He was always grafting and grinding. Me and Deez would be like, how does this brother keep finding these venues here, there and everywhere that we don't know about? Because he's out there putting in the work. When we went and did Beats and Liquor, I've not even just the one that we did. Busy put on so many young women DJs, so many young girls on Beats and Liquor. I don't know any male promoter that puts on that many female DJs and champions female DJs the way that Busy did, to that extent.
But they were all killers as well, though. That's the thing.
Murderers. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, he gave a lot to us, man, and I for one, I'm very, very grateful that I was able to be a part of his journey. You know what I'm saying? Very, very grateful. 100%. So respect for that. Respect for that. Salute, Busy Fingers. Man like Busy.
Every time.
And on that note, we will go. I'll talk about my Jamaica travels another time. People, thank you so much for rocking with us this evening. We will be back 9 p.m. next week. Go tell your friend. And obviously you can catch us throughout the week on our various streams and events. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We're gone. Have yourself a blessed rest of your evening. Until next time.
Go to bed.
Peace.
Later.
Go on to your bed.
About rest of your evening. Go to bed.